Yo, normally I come with energy, but yeah, listen, whatever in it. Like you already know what time it is. Cash money versus no limit. You get me? You saw the verses. If you haven't, just give a quick recap. Long story short, New Orleans won. New Orleans, Louisiana won. Yeah. But no, the real MVPs of the whole situation was obviously Mia X and Juvenile. It's a pity that what's his like Little Wayne wasn't there, but we know why he wasn't there. You know what I mean? We Nicki Minaj weren't there. Like we know why they weren't there, especially Lil Wayne. We know why. All right. But anyway, let's just get into the real story in regards to the verses. Yeah, like the real story, the story that you know what I mean? Why the verse is so historical, irrespective of them not being there without Lil Wayne being there. But let's keep it moving. Let's go. And it was very short as well, by the way. But we move. That's why it should have been held in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, quick question. Have you ever applied for legal aid since 2007?
Right,
Because you might want to actually hear this. In May.
Anyway, so first thing first, we're gonna get into Cash Money versus No Limit, like the real untold stories of New Orleans. Because at the end of the day, the Birdman and Master P, irrespective of how you may feel about them, the reality is this: they're in a situation where they created such a lasting legacy that you know what I mean. It is what it is, but there was a difference for them, so they had differences, should I say? So let's just get straight into this. Shout out to Swamp Stories. They're the one that created this and put this together. So shout them out. Get me. Obviously, I don't own the rights.
Welcome back to another episode.
Well, I don't own the rights to this. They do. You know what I mean? If they own the rights to something else, if someone else owns the right, then they own the rights in it. But I'm gonna always give someone their props.
Episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we stay in Louisiana. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. You can also follow the Instagram page as well. So let's get into it. I covered Baton Rouge twice, so I figured it was only right to cover the city about an hour down the road. New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh wait, is that where NBA YoungBoy's from? It kind of now makes sense to why Birdman, aka Pigeon Man. No, I'm joking. Birdman, like why he had a little crash out, you know what I mean? Towards the end of verses, and he's mentioned about NBA YoungBoy. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think again, you see, irrespective, it's so magic because of knowing what that could have transpired, but it didn't happen, which we are grateful for. Like it's so magic, but let's just get straight into it. Let's go.
And although they're only an hour away, they are completely different. But in order for it to make sense, let's head all the way back to the start. New Orleans is one of the oldest cities in America, built in 1718. And from the start, it was a big melting pot of French, Spanish, West African, and Native people. Altogether, they became known as the Creoles. So if anyone from the area gets an ancestry test, it will most likely have some results you never expected. And if you're from
a little history, and I'll do it on my other channel, but a little history. Creoles are I get why they would say that, but remember in African countries as well, you have Creoles as well. Just don't get that twisted. You know what I mean? You got Creole speaking people, but it's you know what I mean? It's I don't know how to explain it. There's certain countries that have that, you know what I mean? So have that ethnicity. You know what I mean? So let's keep that clear. Creoles are ethnicity. So it's not just a mix of French, Spanish, West African. No. I get what he was doing, but let's just draw the line there. Let's just keep it all the way factual in terms of the historical sort of thing. If it started in 1700, then that's interesting. But anyway, we're into the history. We want to know about Cash Money versus
From New Orleans, chances are you have an uncle or grandparent who looks like Chris Broussard. Anyways, as the years went by, New Orleans quickly became one of the wealthiest cities in the world. That's because it was the entrance to the Mississippi River, which connected North America to the rest of the world. Ships would travel through New Orleans, which made it the biggest and most important port in the Western world. However, the native tribe warned the French and Spanish not to continue building New Orleans because it was on bad land. The story goes that they told them that the land will flood every few years and destroy whatever they built. Well, they were blinded.
Well, it's safe to say George Bush don't care about black people. Remember Hurricane Katrina? Hey yo, when you deep it, when you literally deep it, do you know what I mean? And shout out to Lil Wayne, because when Hurricane Katrina hit, what did he do? He helped out his native land, or where he was raised. Do you know what I mean? But that's interesting if that is actual factual information. I'm always going to say if it's factual, because I don't know the pure facts in regards to the historical context of certain regions in certain countries. Yeah. But if I must get into it, it will be on my other channel, especially when it comes to African and Caribbean related or anything in the diaspora related. Do you know what I mean? I'll cover it there, but on the Al Computer Trust channel. But by the way, I forgot to even mention, hit the subscribe button, turn in the post notification. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
By the wealth they were building and brushed off the warning. You'd think that they'd listen though, you know, it's not like the tribe had been living there for thousands of years or anything. Well, fast forward to the 20th century and New Orleans was a vibrant, happy, middle to upper class city. In fact, it had one of the lowest crime rates of all major US cities. But
Wow. It had one of the lowest crime rates. One of the lowest crime rates in the United States. Or what did he say? He had one of the lowest crime rates. And you know what's so interesting about that? It's just knowing that crime ended up becoming I'm pretty sure New Orleans was known as the M capital of, you know what I mean, of America at one point, which is insane. So what happened? No, honestly, what happened? Like, literally, what happened? Because I'm sure it weren't by accident. There has to be something that triggered that. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, wait, the richest state. And we know we can't live here because we know there's going to be a lot of flood, but we know it's making a lot of money. How can we make money, but also... No, I'm joking. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. I don't even, well, anyway.
New Orleans was a vibrant, happy, middle to upper class city. In fact, it had one of the lowest crime rates of all major US cities. But everything would change in the late 1960s. Once other forms of transportation like cars, trains, and airplanes were developed, there was no reason for New Orleans to exist anymore. And when the...
So because of transportation, the various transportations, he's saying that there's no reason for New Orleans to exist anymore. That's insane to even say. It really is insane to say. Like, really, 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 really insane to say. Personally, I don't know. What would you say? What would you say? Because at the end of the day, you can't be saying that, can you? Can you? I mean, you got to learn how to adapt. You understand? You got to learn how to adapt. If you can't adapt, then I don't know for you, innit? You know what I mean? I don't know for you. You've got to learn how to adapt. It's very important. All right? So let's keep it moving.
Money stopped rolling in from the port, the underlying issues of New Orleans started to reveal themselves. The once prosperous city started becoming a very dark place, truly a shell of its former self. From 1968, New Orleans began getting worse every single year. Crime started rising, businesses closed their doors, and residents began fleeing the city in large numbers. And by 1973, New Orleans was officially America's most dangerous city. The roads stopped being paved, schools shut down.
Yeah, that's definitely not by accident. That's definitely not by accident. You telling me that they couldn't adapt? That makes no sense to me. You're telling me they couldn't adapt? The whole point of human life is human evolution. You evolve with the times. Do you know what I mean? You evolve with technology. You know what I mean? You evolve with agriculture. So what are we saying? But we here for for cash money versus no limit. Like, let's keep it moving. Let's hear what they're saying. Really.
Houses became abandoned and the streets absolutely took control of the city. So let me break it all down. The city of New Orleans has 17 wards, which
I don't know why they call it wards. I guess it's just projects, but no, because Calliope Projects, Magnolia Projects. I don't know why this is loading like this, but we can hit skip straight away. Let's go.
is pretty similar to the zones in Atlanta, except in New Orleans they actually play a factor in the streets. And in this video we're gonna focus on the 3rd ward, which is without a doubt the most legendary and active in the city. It all revolves around 3 projects: the Magnolia, the Calliope, and the Melv. And no, I'm not talking about Sonya Curry, so get your mind out of the gutter. Anyways, these are the
Personally, I don't know who Sonya Curry is, but we move. But obviously, let's keep it moving.
3 most dangerous and rundown projects in all of America, and they're all located in the same area. The 3rd ward is an absolute mess where you always have to be on your 10 toes, and this environment breeds some of the biggest bosses in the country. Welcome to New Orleans. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
And while he's running the intro, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification, and keep it moving. Shout out to everyone from New Orleans, Nola, Louisiana, Mississippi. No,
Since the 1980s, the Magnolia Project has been the main rival of everyone in the 3rd ward, and honestly in the city as well. But their main opposition has always been the guys just down the street. First, let me introduce you to the Melpomene Project, also known as the Melv. Now, technically it should be pronounced Melpomene, but it's New Orleans. This is the smallest project out of the 3, and for this episode we will be focusing on the other 2 projects. And that takes us to the famous Calliope Projects. And again, it's supposed to be pronounced Calliope, but this is New Orleans. Well, the Calliope Project
Calliope. Now, it actually sounds better the other way, Calliope.
Projects, also known as CP3, was always known as a wild place. It consisted of 1,600 units covering 6 blocks, and the rent, you won't believe this, $8 a month for a 1-bedroom and $22 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And you might be thinking, wow, that's a bargain, but honestly, I don't even think it's worth that. That's because the projects had not been maintained since 1941, and residents claim that they were infested with roaches, rats, ants, and spiders. On top of this, many units had mold and rotting animals that stunk up the complex. But despite the alarming poverty in the Calliope, big money began funneling through the complex in the early 1980s.
Time out. You're telling me you can't take care of your own building where you live? Now, I get it. If you live in a block building, you may feel like other people should take maintenance of that, which makes sense if there is that structure. But if you see that there is no structure, someone has to take charge. Someone has to make that change. I'm not sorry. Like, this is where you're living. This is where you lay your head down at night. This is where your kids are sleeping, most importantly. And you want them to, no disrespect to anyone, yeah, but do you want them to grow up in a rat-infested, cockroaches-infested place? It don't make no sense to me. But we keep it moving. Because, you know, it is what it is.
And I'm not sure if era hit any city harder than New Orleans, and that created some street millionaires. And in the Calliope, it happened to be a man by the name of Sam Clay, also known as Sam Scully. Sam Scully was a smart hustler.
Oh, wait. I know this is it might not be the same person they're referring to. In what's the name of that show? Snowfall, Scully. They could have used his name, his likeness, but actually said he's from LA instead of New Orleans. New Orleans need their own story properly. Let's go.
He started off with $1 and flipped it into millions in just 3 years. And in New Orleans, being successful came down to two things: territory and takeover. In order to make the most money, you had to be able to post up on more blocks, and that's how you increased your sales. But that was a dangerous game, because once you cross into another project, there's no telling what might happen. And this is when the rivalries begun. But some projects decided that joining together was better for business, and others decided that the lines needed to be drawn. And here's how it played out. The Melf and Calliope decided to work together, but the Magnolia was not going for it. That's because they were already making so much money in their own right. Specifically, two men by the name of Tonto and Cito, and they played by the same rules as the Calliope.
Want to get a new job?
A Google Career Certificate can help you get a job in cybersecurity,
IT support, and data analytics.
Calliope and Melf. And that's when the battle for the third ward began. But in order for it to make sense, we should focus on Sam Scully, because he was the godfather of New Orleans. And for almost a decade, he was seen as untouchable. There's no way anyone would do anything to such a powerful man. At least that's what the Calliope thought. He had graduated from the projects and purchased a 5-bedroom house across New Orleans. This is where he could handle business in peace. And by the mid-1980s, he only came to the Calliope on occasion in order to make sure the operation was a well-oiled machine. In fact, he was so cautious that no one except his children were allowed to come in his house or to even know where he lived. On top of this, he dressed like a businessman every day in order to lay.
That's smart. Just like a businessman. I mean, technically, it is technically business. I mean, what are we saying it? Let's go.
Low. However,
I don't know if this was the actual one I was trying to look for, but it kind of still makes sense regardless, because you need to know the backstory before anything else. So this even enhances, like, you already see how it enhances the verses and why it was so historical. You got two from two different projects from the same third ward on stage together. Do you know what I mean? Let's go.
1987, he would lose his life while visiting the Calliope.
Yeah.
This incident left the Calliope in shock. Although this was a common occurrence in the third ward, you never saw a boss like this go down. Rumors say that he had over $10 million stashed, which is over $25 million in today's money. However, his kids would deny this claim in an interview, which is pretty smart. Wasn't all bad. You may feel how you feel about how he made his money, but you can't deny the dedication and hustle it took to reach success. He was known to look out for the kids in the neighborhood and pay them to stay out of the streets. He was even known to pay local kids who played sports in order to keep them on the right path. And one of those kids was Percy Miller, a local...
Nigga, what? Wait, time out. I don't think I've heard... Did Percy Miller ever mention this before? Yo.
Days money. However, his kids would deny this claim in an interview, which is pretty smart. But Scully's reputation wasn't all bad. You may feel how you feel about how he made his money, but you can't deny the dedication and hustle it took to reach success. He was known to look out for the kids in the neighborhood and pay them to stay out of the streets. He was even known to pay local kids who played sports in order to keep them on the right path. And one of those kids was Percy Miller, a local basketball star at Booker T. Washington High School. Percy was obviously smart and talented since a young age, and that's a big reason why Scully made sure he was on the right track. He dreamed of being successful like Scully, but wanted to achieve it in a better way. So he would sign.
That is so mad interesting. Dude, this is what's so mad, yeah? And if you have made it this far, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. Shout out to all the returning subscribers. You understand? Big you all up. Get me? If you're a fan of K-pop, hip-hop, regardless, you're going to see why the two cultures are within one. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're the same, but you know what I mean? But, like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, you see, look at this, yeah? For example, look at this. You got someone who is making money a certain way, but yet still having the heart and mind to be like, let me look out for the young kids on the project to say, you know what, you stay out of trouble. You ain't got to live this lifestyle or do that. Do you know what I mean? And this is despite him making as much money as he's making. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that could be so selfish, regardless, and be like, I don't care if he's a kid. Do you know what I mean? And let them do what they're doing, innit? You know what I'm saying? But in this case, it's like, I see you're talented, boom. In fact, it goes back to what Nori was saying in one interview on Drink Champs, where he's mentioned the local ninjas, yeah, the street guys, real ones. They don't want you to be on the block like that. If you got a talent, they would sponsor that talent, not because they're trying to extort the talent, but because they want to make sure that talent makes it out of the hood good, which is very interesting. Because I think there's one, but funny enough, talking about basketball, there was one basketball player that was similar. You know what I mean? Which is mad interesting. Hey, life. You never know who's going to help you and where that help comes from and how they got to where they got to help you. You never know. So the thing about it, if Scully never did what he did, would Percy Miller end up becoming Master P? We don't know. We honestly don't know. While I'm at it, free Corey Miller. And let's go.
A basketball scholarship with the University of Houston in 1988, but unfortunately he tore his ACL during his freshman season, and the school pulled his.
Always the ACL. It's always the ACL, regardless of what sport. In soccer as well, some of you in America call it soccer, but it's actually football because you kick it with your foot. You kick a ball with your foot, so don't understand why you call it soccer. It doesn't make no sense. Soccer? Like, come on. But anyway, all jokes aside, that ACL injury is it's unfortunate. That is very, very common. But some people recover quickly from it. Not quickly, but they recover to be able to play the sport again and continue to, exceed their potential and do well. You know what I mean? And some, unfortunately, never recover. But, it is what it is. I feel like sometimes it's just, if you got a good medical team, good coaches, I'm not going to say it's easy to get back to normal fitness and get back to the mindset and the mentality of wanting to do the best you can again. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's easy, but I feel like it's much more manageable. You know what I mean? If you ain't got a team around you to do it like that, then, it's another route. But let's go.
Scholarship, but instead of returning to New Orleans, Percy decided to move to California, and not Los Angeles or San Francisco or even San Diego. Instead, he moved in with his mom who lived in the North Richmond housing projects. But he wasn't out there to play any games. He had his mind set on the music business. So with a $10,000 inheritance check from his grandfather, he opened a record store in the neighborhood. He named it
Wait. You see, he missed out a vital piece of information. Yes, it's an inheritance, but you got to bear in mind how that inheritance came. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too tough. If you heard the story, you've heard the story, but it's interesting how it wasn't just him that received $10,000. I believe, I think his brothers as well received some money as well. I can't remember how much, but he was able to use that money to purchase No Limit Records and tape store in Richmond, California. I forgot there was a Richmond in America. Anyway, there's a Richmond in the UK too. Let's go.
Limit Records, and when the local rappers heard about the store, they began selling their projects to him for consignment. One of those rappers was E40, and he and his uncle St. Charles began showing Percy the ropes of the independent hustle. So he took the knowledge and began his own career under the name of Master P. But although he already had the hustle and musical genius, he knew nothing about business. So he enrolled at Merritt Community College in Oakland. But he didn't go there for a degree, but just to take business classes to strengthen his knowledge. Well, while taking classes, he met a young producer named EA Ski. So together, Master P, E40, and EA Ski mastered the independent hustle without any label. Master P had a big plan, which was to pull up to every hood in California and give mixtapes to the guy with the nicest car. That's because he knew that everyone would imitate the guy with the most money. If they heard him playing his music, they might think that it's the coolest thing to listen to. And
That is smart business.
While we all
Know your
know AI
market.
is here to help,
Like,
not
know your
all
audience.
AI.
This plan worked out very well. He even had his brothers and sisters move to Richmond as well to record albums together. And Master P fully immersed himself into the culture. You can even see him wearing Richmond hats in his music videos. His debut album sold over 100,000 copies. But he wasn't content with the local success. Working with the West Coast artists was great, but they already had their own hustle. And P knew that he could reach higher goals. So in 1995, he returned to New Orleans with a master plan, no pun intended. He knew that in the South, his music style...
No. Pun intended, man. I know you want to say no pun intended, but that is a pun, all right? Master plan, Master P. No, but it's interesting how knowing, you see, let's just break this down for a bit. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification, let's keep it moving. But basically, let's break it down. So at the start, you have the situation with him joining, with Scully giving him money to be, and then also basically more or less helping him on a trajectory of becoming a basketball star. Unfortunately, that didn't work out to, well, at least yet, yeah, because we know he ended up playing in the NBA, yeah, but that was eventually. But the thing is, you have to understand, after that, boom, unfortunately, an incident that happened that with his grandfather, and then boom, he gets an inheritance check. He invests that money, and then boom. Do you know what I mean? He starts a record store. Then he enrolls himself into college to learn more about business. Like, there's so many people that wouldn't even think that. They'd be like, you know what? It's business. I'll let's learn it offhand. But no, he actually enrolled himself into college. Like, do you know how much tenacity you need to be able to do that? And then obviously teaming up with E40 was a big move. And even though he knew that E40 and those in the West had their sound, not only did they have their sound, but he understood they had their market, they had their lane, and boom. And now it's moving back to New Orleans. Smart.
Needed to change. On the West Coast, it was all about the flow and what you're saying. For example, people wanted to hear the game from Too Short, E40, or Ant Banks. But in the South, it's the beat that matters first. People down South want the song to make them feel a certain way, and then they'll listen to the lyrics later. And everything...
You know what's mad? Decades later, it's literally the same thing. However, yes, you do have MCs, lyricists like Andre 3000, aka Free Stacks, lyricists like Ludacris, lyricists like, you know what I mean? We got who else? There's a whole load of them, yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is you can't put yourself in a position where, like, not to say you have to put yourself in a position where you have to understand where you are from and understand what they want and what they need. And if you think about the verses, if you watch that verses, you would notice two things on both sides, or one thing, but on both sides. Yeah, that one thing, both for their beats by the pound, and Manny Fresh, their production is top tier. Top tier. You can't tell me nothing. Manny Fresh is one of the greatest producers that he doesn't get enough credit he deserves. Beat by the pound, listen, don't even that. Listen, don't play. I'm a no limit soldier. I thought I told ya. Now let's go anyway. Let's go.
Revolves around what's being played at the club, but Master P's first move was controversial. He signed a rapper named Soulja Slim, which surprised many people in New Orleans. That's because Soulja Slim was from the Magnolia Projects, which are rivals with Master P's Calliope Projects. But Master P was all about business, and the street politics didn't matter one bit. And that's when No Limit began to rise and take over the industry. The Calliope was the new Compton. Everyone in rap was excited about what the Calliope had in store next. Other No Limit rappers like Mystical began taking over as well. People really felt the New Orleans environment through the music, and it became...
Now, I wish Mystical was there as well. This is what's so mad. I know what he's been locked up for, and he should stay locked up. But it's like, had Mystical been there, the energy alone, No Limit won. I swear, in fact, no, I swear he was Mystical was part of No Limit at one point. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty sure of it. Bear with me a few seconds. I need to double check something real quick. Let's go.
Hip-hop's new up-and-coming city because of No Limit. But the Third Ward wasn't going to let them be the only stars. And that's when the Magnolia decided to get in on the music as well. Bryan Williams, also known as Birdman, had already started Cash Money Records. But at this time, it was...
Every time I see Birdman's name, I always want to do that bird call. What happened to that boy? Yeah, you didn't pay that boy. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. Birdman's involved with a lot of stuff. It's so mad when you deep it. But let me figure out something. I was trying to figure out something real quick. What was I figuring out? All right, so boom. All right, Mystical. How I got by the hand? Michelle Tyler. Who's Michelle Tyler? Oh damn, my bad. Anyway. All right, so boom, yeah, here we are going to go. Yes, he was. I was right. He was signed to No Limit and Cash Money. It would make sense for him to sign to Cash Money eventually because Magnolia Projects. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew he was signed. That is wrong.
A much smaller operation. Their main focus was on a local Third Ward group called UNLV. The group consisted of Yellow Boy and Lil Ya, who were two of the most respected members of the Magnolia Projects. But these guys weren't business-minded like Master P. They still had one foot in the streets. And their main rival happened to be No Limit's Mystical, who they dissed in a song called Drag 'Em in the River. However, this beef was not their main issue. In typical Louisiana fashion, internal affairs took
Wait. Let's figure this out. I want to figure this out. He obviously was born in... Let me see. I want to see something because it has to make sense. Wait, do you see this?
Next, other No Limit rappers like Mystical began taking over as well. People really felt the New Orleans environment through the music, and it became hip-hop's new up-and-coming city because of No Limit. But the Third Ward wasn't going to let them be the only stars. And that's when the Magnolia decided to get in on the music as well. Bryan Williams, also known as Birdman, had already started Cash Money Records. But at this time, it was a much smaller operation. Their main focus was on a local Third Ward group called UNLV. The group consisted of Yellow Boy and Lil Ya, who were two of the most respected members of the Magnolia Projects. But these guys weren't business-minded like Master P. They still had one foot in the streets. And their main rival happened to be No Limit's Mystical.
Time out. It doesn't matter if you have 1 foot in the streets or 1 foot in business. If you got 1 foot in the streets, you already have a business mind. Because you have to remember back then, it was the streets technically in some cases, some people were making more money in the streets than they were making music. Do you understand? That's unfortunate true facts.
They dissed in a song called Drag 'Em in the River. However, this beef was not their main issue. In typical Louisiana fashion, internal affairs took the front seat. And that takes us to 1997. UNLV and Birdman began bumping heads when the group notices that they haven't been properly paid for their music. So they go ahead and hire lawyers to prove that Birdman owes them a lot of money. But instead of bringing on a law...
Hey, listen, Birdman's been owing people money from day one. You think, no wonder Lil Wayne didn't show up. Hey, yo, obviously we know the other reason why Lil Wayne didn't show up, but nah, for real. He hasn't been paying people. Do you know what I mean? He's been using that money so he can stay stunting. That's what he wants to be doing.
suit, they decide to try intimidation first. So during a video shoot in the Magnolia, Yellow Boy shows up and walks up to Birdman. But Yellow Boy wasn't done just yet. His point wasn't getting through. So later on that day, he goes looking for Birdman again. But after hours of searching, he finally gives up, and he decides to head to Birdman's New Orleans East mansion. He pulls into the driveway and notices that nobody is home. But for whatever reason, he decides to walk in front of the home, and bam! When Birdman got the news of this, he was not pleased, but he also wasn't worried. That's because
that was a blatant setup. If you're from the end or from wherever, like, or the hood or whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from, you know that's a setup. The thing is, you have to understand, if you really did something to someone and you gave them that slap, whatever, cool. Why are you looking for them again? Does that even make sense? Like, don't look for trouble, because trouble will find you. Do you know what I mean? You may have got away with it last time and thinking it's all good, but the next time you may not get away with it. That just is what it is. I'm not even like a fan of Birdman. We're gonna do another series on surviving Birdman another day, yeah. Like, so make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications, so when I upload that, you'll
because he was rolling with some of the most notorious guys in New Orleans. Most importantly, his brother named Terrence Williams, also known as Gangsta. And this guy might just be the most cold-blooded we have ever seen. Gangsta was a feared name in New Orleans, known as a guy you want to avoid pissing off at all costs. And once he got news of what Yellow Boy did to his brother, he was ready to handle business. Well, on the night of April 5th, 1997, Yellow Boy was found lying in his car in the Magnolia Projects.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Well, it's not to say that it was,
And instantly, all eyes were pointed in one direction, Terrence Gangsta Williams. And not long after, he would go down for it. However, in New Orleans, the law operates way differently than anywhere else. The city of New Orleans has what's known as the 60-day rule. If NOPD can't present a witness testimony within 60 days of a crime, all charges will be dropped. And that's allegedly what occurred in this case. And this rule is why almost all crimes went unsolved in New Orleans during this period. On top of this, NOPD was notorious for turning a blind eye on what was going on. But when it involved higher profile cases, the feds would take over. And for the year of 1997, the feds tapped the phone of Terrence Williams. And later that year, he was arrested for all kinds of things, a list that covers pages and pages of events. And in 2002, he was officially sentenced to 240 years.
240 years. Hey, who lives that long? Let alone have that many years in prison. That makes no sense. Just say life in prison. Like 240 years. 240 years. Are you kidding me? Alright. Let's keep it moving.
After this, he was seen as a legend for staying solid and defending cash money at all costs. But this turned out not to be the case, which you'll see later on. So let's fast forward to 2002 in both.
Wait, what? And I want to know why they use Daniel Hernandez, aka Hip Hop Police, as the
blind eye on what was going on. But when it involved higher profile cases, the feds would take over. And for the year of 1997, the feds tapped the phone of Terrence Williams. And later that year, he was arrested for all kinds of things, a list that covers pages and pages of events. And in 2002, he was officially sentenced to 240 years. After this, he was seen as a legend for staying solid and defending cash money at all costs. But this turned out not to be the case, which you'll see later on. So let's fast forward to 2002 in both cash money.
Basically, they use that. If I'm right or wrong, let me know in the comments below. Basically, he snitched. Basically, is that it? Let me know. Let's go.
And No Limit have taken over the industry. Cash Money's Juvenile came out of the gates on fire with 400 Degrees, and Lil Wayne came out with The Block Is Hot. And for No Limit, Soulja Slim and Mystical were seeing success as well. It's safe to say that this was the New Orleans prime era, and many people wondered why No Limit and Cash Money never collaborated. They were from the same city and the same ward, so what was the issue? But the world didn't know that the Magnolia and Calliope were arch rivals. In fact, it was one of the worst in American history, where things were going down on a daily basis. Both Birdman and Master P would talk about it in an interview.
What was the situation back then?
It was just that I didn't get along with some of the people he ran with.
Yeah.
You know, some of the people that was with Cash Money, like I told you, you know, all your friends ain't my friends. I salute them for what they done, but if I don't get along with the people you get along with, you know, I'm not gonna do business with you. That's just it. He probably felt the same way. He probably didn't get along with some of the people that I ran with.
Yeah.
You know, it was two different communities, two different hoods, and
two different projects, right?
Two different projects.
Okay.
I mean, you ain't got to get along with everyone. I mean, hey, look, do you get along with your neighbor? Leave your answer in the comments below. Let's be real. You know what I mean? 'Cause sometimes some of your neighbors, they can, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can't get along with them. Sometimes you can get along with them. Just depends. It is what it is. I get it.
You were
So,
from?
I was from the Calliope, and they was from the Magnolia.
Okay.
I mean, back then we was young, you know, we ain't rock with that ain't rock with us, so that's just how that was. We ain't see eye to eye with nothing, you know, it was really me and him. A lot of the artists got along with each other.
Yeah.
It was more of me and him. Maybe he didn't like who I rock with, that's where I come from. But it was more personal with me and him. We didn't see eye to eye, period.
They didn't have to get along or
See, and that again, this is what makes that versus so legendary. Irrespective of Lil Wayne not being there, it still makes it legendary. Because just to see them on stage together, just to see it on stage together is something special. And not only that, let's think about this way, yeah? Where would hip hop be without their influence? Like, put that into perspective. Where would hip hop be? Let's
collaborate, but they also didn't want to end each other's careers. And that's a big reason why nothing took place between the labels. However, living in New Orleans, every day could be your last. And that reality caused many of the guys to be on edge. Especially Master P's younger brother, Corey Miller, also known as C Murder. And as the streets of New Orleans tell it, his nickname was well earned. And that takes us to January 12th,
No, time out. We know his nickname is coming from his family lineage of, you know, being a soldier. That's where it comes from. All right? That's where it comes from.
2002. C Murder is booked for a walkthrough at the Platinum Club in Harvey, Louisiana. This is a suburb located right next to New Orleans, and although they're very close, the two cities are completely different, especially when it comes to the law. Harvey is located in Jefferson Parish, which is one of the strictest and tough on crime counties in the country, and they definitely do not have a 60-day rule, so the New Orleans people know to be on their best behavior when they're in this county. Well, at the nightclub, a 16-year-old boy named Steve Thomas walks up to C Murder looking for an autograph. However, an argument breaks out between the two, and that's when C Murder steps back and bang!
That's not how the story went. But we move. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not how the story went. That's not how the story went. Depending where you get your sources from, that's not how the story went. And you can let me know in the comment section below if I'm right. The story didn't go exactly the way that it's being told here. You know what I mean? But let's keep it moving. Let's go. Free Corey Miller.
February 28th, 2002, Corey Miller was arrested at his Baton Rouge home. And here is where things get interesting. The DA brought in 2 witnesses that claimed to have seen him do it. But Corey's lawyers brought in 9 witnesses that testified that he didn't do it. But usually, in order for that to help you out, they have to say who did do it. And that never happened. Ultimately, Corey took it to trial, pleading his innocence the whole time.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Even if you, like, this is what's so mad, yeah? Even if you can, there's witnesses to say this person did not do it. I know they didn't do it because I saw them here at this place at this time, boom, 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 right? It doesn't make, like, you don't have to snitch and say, oh, it was this person that did it. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to say it. If 9 people are the witness and they can prove with facts and evidence, do you know what I mean? What's the difference? Sometimes I just don't understand humans. Like, maybe it's just me. Sometimes I don't understand humans. You know what I mean?
Time. However, on August 10th, 2009, he was convicted after the jury voted 10-2, which in Louisiana is enough to convict. So Corey Miller received a life sentence, but Master P was not going to let his brother go down like that. So just 17 days later, a retrial was demanded. That's because one of the jurors came out and said that she was pressured by others on the jury. The 20-year-old Xavier pharmacy student claims to have been so ridiculed during deliberation that she even vomited. She claims that she folded under pressure and returned a guilty verdict against her will.
If that happens, yeah, if that happens to the jury, yeah, if that happens to the jury, can you imagine other cases? Yeah, I even did my reaction to the whole Diddy trial, and I said something quite similar, not similar, but more or less the case of, look, it's the 4th of July is coming up. Everyone else probably wants, there's going to be a few small people that, not small, but a small amount of people that want to do the due process properly, and the majority are going to pressure those to be able to be like, no, let's get this done straight away. Do you know what I mean? Let's get this finished on time. Do you know what I mean? And pressure bursts pipes, or it builds diamonds, makes diamonds. But anyway, that's what I'm
So
saying.
on this basis, the lawyers would ask for a retrial, and it would be granted. But unfortunately, the conviction was confirmed once again by a jury in December of 2011. But Master P wasn't done just yet. In 2013, they would take the case to the Supreme Court, which also ruled him guilty on February 19th, 2013. So that was 3 attempts. But did you think they were done trying? No way. In April 2014, Corey's lawyers would ask for a post-conviction relief application. But once again, this was rejected by Jefferson Parish courts. Oh, did you think this was the end? No way. Except this time they might be working with something. In April 2018, the 2 original witnesses came out and admitted that they lied about seeing Corey Miller do it. They claim that Jefferson Parish told them to lie and promised them favors in return. Who knows how this will turn out this time? But in order to continue the story, let's head all the way back to 2003. This is when more bad news would come out of No Limit. They had just lost Corey Miller to the system and couldn't possibly afford any more losses. Well, Soulja Slim had become the star of No Limit, especially after his 2001 album. But things would come crashing down on November 26, 2003. Soulja Slim decides to go visit his mom in the Gentilly neighborhood of New Orleans. This is a suburban neighborhood where you would never expect anything to happen. So Soulja Slim casually pulls into his mom's driveway. But right there is a man named Jarrell Smith. Bam! Jarrell Smith went down at a New Year's Eve party in New Orleans, and what they found in his possession matched the scene of Soulja Slim. And it also matched 3 others from the Magnolia as well: Spencer Smith Jr., Mandel Duplessis, and Terry Brock. However, no witnesses were
This is mad. So, yo, let's go.
Smith was ultimately let free, and this reignited a rivalry in the Third Ward. And this next generation is just as bad, if not worse, than the previous one. The New Orleans has completely changed though, especially after the hurricane. But I'll keep all that for part 2, so let me know in the comments if you guys want to see a part 2, the new generation of the Third Ward. But before I conclude the video, major news broke out just last month. Birdman's brother Terrence Gangsta Williams was released from his 240-year sentence. Many people were shocked and curious why. Well, it came out that he was working with the feds the entire time and gave up names of guys in the Magnolia who committed crimes. Apparently, Birdman told Whack 100 that Terrence isn't his brother, which is not true. But I guess that's his way of saying that he is not accepted anymore. Let me know in the comments who you guys think was better, Cash Money or No Limit. And that's gonna do it for this episode of Swamp Stories. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new.
Hey, no way! He snitched. Hey, I'm telling you, a lot of gangsters snitch. Ain't no real ones out there like that. No solid people like that. It is what it is. Get me? But let's see what people say in the comments real quick. So someone put anyone else here because of the no limit cash versus coming up next Saturday. Well, it happened already, so we're gonna look at the new. All right, it's supposed to be pronounced that way. We see it. You know what I'm saying? Cardio. We are not African at all. That's a lie. You may not have African heritage. That's up to you. That's your DNA, if anything. But it's what it is. Because there are some that do have African DNA. You hear me? There's no harm in it. If you get me, if you don't have African DNA, that's on you. I wonder if that's what ended up getting Slim pied. I seen a documentary not too long ago, like last week, and they were saying it was unexpected. Although he was living like that, they were seeming like they were surprised by it, like it happened somewhere it wasn't supposed to happen. This is what I'm trying to say. There's so many conflicting stories when it comes to certain cases or certain situations. You know what I mean? But in this case, if they say this was so mad, yeah, and I'll keep it all the way 100. If you do something to someone, you can't expect nothing to happen to you. Now here's the other thing. Here's the flip side. The flip side is even if you have good intentions, you have to maintain trying to have good intentions. That's what I'm going to say. Prince the Artist spoke on Masterpiece, so that says a lot. That's true. Another side note. I know. This is what makes the verses historical. Do you know what I mean? Like it is historical. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Shout out to everyone who's watching. Shout out to all the returning subscribers. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification. Yeah, man, let's keep it moving, though. Moving, la la la. Hey, everybody. All right, let me get my notes up. All right, so now, yeah, here's what we're gonna do. Now we're really gonna get into the untold story. Wait, this was it? No, it wasn't. It was this. Let me in fact, you know what? There was something else that we could watch on here real quick. I don't know if it was this one. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was actually this one that I was meant to react to. We're gonna react to this one as well now. Let's go.
Bro, you're done already?
Yeah, bro.
How?
Hired Motion to hire AI employees.
AI employees?
Yeah.
What was the situation back then?
It was just that I didn't get along with some of the people.
You know what? Let's just forget it because they're gonna be repeating the same thing. Let's be real. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna literally be repeating the same thing. The same thing. All right, so now, yeah. The untold story. But yeah, man, let's keep it moving. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification. Let's keep it moving. I need to get. Bear with me, people. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's see if we can watch this real quick. Let me see something.
Formerly known as Universal Republic, Cash Money will be home to a roster of mostly all hip-hop artists. In its later years, Lil Wayne, Drake, and the...
Hold on. It was actually this I was looking for. Let's go.
Founded in 1991 by brothers Ronald Slim Williams and Bryan Baby Williams, Cash Money Records is the biggest record label coming out of the city of New Orleans, taking over the streets on its way to success with the majors. In its early years, Cash Money Records will release albums by UNLV, Tech 9, Juvenile, BG, Lil Slim, Pimp Daddy, Kilo G, Victor Ivan, the Hot Boys, just to name a few. Distributed by Republic Records, formerly known as Universal Republic, Cash Money will be home to a roster of mostly all hip-hop artists. In its later years, Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj will go on to be CMR's biggest selling solo artist. Cash Money will go on to become one of the biggest labels in the music industry today, owned by Master P.
This is what I was trying to look for. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notification, let's go.
No Limit Records will be distributed by Priority, Universal, and Koch Records. The label included artists such as Snoop Dogg, Mercedes, Silk the Shocker, Mystical, Mia X, Mac, Magic, Romeo Miller, Fiend, Cain and Abel, and Soulja Slim, just to name a few. Anthony Boswell, head of Body Management, will serve as vice president of operations as well as head of management for the label. In the late 90s, No Limit Records would have mainstream success with releases such as Master P's, LOD, True to the Game, Snoop Dogg, The Game is to be sold, not told. Known for quickly producing lengthy albums consisting of up to 20 tracks, No Limit would drop albums faster than a Vic spending his whole check on the first. Contrary to popular belief, the CMR No Limit beef would not stem from music. Baby's family, originally from Saratoga, but later moved to the 13th Ward. It was there.
All right, so listen, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications. It was this one I was supposed to react to, not the other one, but the other one still gave some depth and some insight. But you can see straight away, mentioning the artists, mentioning the labels they were associated with in terms of the Priority Records, Universal Music, it straight away is giving you real in-depth info.
Will be raised. Losing his mom at a young age, Baby's inspiration will be his pops, Mr. Johnny, who is a military vet that owned and operated his own businesses. One of those businesses will be Gladys Bar. It wouldn't be long before Baby would jump in the game and start hustling. After getting popped twice, Baby would learn from his mistakes and move smarter. Baby would move work throughout the entire uptown area, specifically Magnolia, where he had gotten a hood pass from KC. The Hot Boys, a group of notorious street figures, will be active at the time. That group will consist of Gangsta, Sterling, Dooney, and Rookie, a.k.a. Mosquito. If you know, you know. Percy Miller, a.k.a. Master P, would hail from the Magnolia Projects, a.k.a. the CP3. P would earn his bones by flipping a $10,000 settlement from the passing of his grandfather to open a record store in Richmond, California. It was there that P would get his first break in the music industry, later bringing his success back to the NO, where he would recruit a whole new roster. This roster would mainly consist of artists that KLC of Parkway Pumping Records had already been working with. Not as deep in the game as Baby, P would state in interviews that as a youth, he was one part of the infamous street crew, the Tuesday Crew, which consisted of names such as Bruce, Burnell, Kluge, Kevin, and Jen, just to name a few. Kevin Miller would later lose his life to the streets at a young age. It's the early 90s. The streets are popping. The Yo, known for that 11-5, will be home to some of the most notorious street figures to ever run the streets of the NO. Dodo, Levi, JoJo, Meatball, Randall, Sam Scully, Glenn Metz, Turbo, just to name a few. The Yo and the Noya at one time would rock with each other, trading beefs, crushing each other's ops. P, who had gotten his money up by this time, would be highly respected in the Calio. It was rumored that P had laced the BTGs, aka Back of Town Gangsters, with new Dodge Intrepids. P's brother C, aka CD, was known for showing love to the Yo, even having an apartment in the project while running with the Cut Boys. Let's rewind. The game comes to snitch.
You see, this is more in depth. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Rats, informant, cutthroaters, nappers, hitters, jackers, and D-boys. The relationship between the Yo and the Noya will soon take a turn. An FBI informant would allegedly work with the feds to try and take down Sam Scully's operation, the notorious Clay Gang. A bag would be put on his head. One of the young hitters of the Yo would take the hit. for the 20 racks. He would catch dudes slipping but wasn't able to crush him. Either the gun jammed or the magazine would fall out of the gap. Needless to say, he didn't get the job done. The next day, he would get caught with the gag and be arrested. He would allegedly be bonded out by an unknown source. The dudes out the yo will believe it to be the Noya. This has never been proven or confirmed. Allegedly, after bonding out, he would go on an apparent hit with 3 men. This hit would be a setup. He would be crushed and dumped in the 12th ward. After watching the news, the yo would learn that the body found in the 12th ward would be him. The yo would now be out for blood. The streets were...
That's mad. Hey, listen. Don't be money hungry. Don't be money hungry.
Same dude at the Noya were running with homeboy who had the bag on his head. It was this affiliation that would cause Yo to believe that the Hot Boys went with the move on dude. Let's move on. The plot thickens. Hot Boy Sterling will lose his life from a beef in the streets. He will be deleted in the Obayuwana Projects. Terrence Mr. Williams will be with Sterling when he was hit up. Mosquito, another member of the Hot Boys, will be caught with a pistol at Sterling's funeral. He will be locked up and convicted on a charge. The criminal justice system would make a huge mistake. Mosquito, who was sent to court for a traffic violation, will be set free despite being convicted for the blicky. Now on the run, Rookie could no longer move how he wanted to move. He could no longer hang on the same sets or lay his head where he wanted to. Having ties in the yo, Skeeto would decide
Look
to
at
make
the area,
the
yeah. Do you know what that's reminding me of? This particular area here, yeah. Hold on. Don't know if you can go back to it. Hold on, where is it right now? It's too much.
His duck off. This will turn out to be a horrible mistake as he will be crushed in the yo. The beef will intensify as both sides are now out for blood. The city will run rampant with rumors. Gangster will be accused of crushing Randall and P's cousin Hot Boy. No truth to this has ever been confirmed. Baby, who would have strong ties to the Noya, would have to make a decision. That decision would be to not rock with P or the No Limit camp. He will be quoted in interviews as saying, "If I don't rock with you, nobody from my camp can rock with you." Mr. Marcello, who was at the Noya, would have part ownership as well as being an artist on Tough Guy Records, a label formed.
Now it makes even more sense to why. You know what I mean? Yo.
By Dodo out the yo. They will both be on some get money shit. Marcello and Dodo will be more interested in getting money and being involved in street beef. Going on to record a music video in both projects.
Bro. Never thought the Cali and Magnolia would hook up, but now they like.
Oh, look, that background there reminds me of Stockwell. That Stocky, if you know, you know. Summer late in the state. If you like summer late in the state, yeah, a ruthless estate in certain time. You know what I mean? I don't know about now. I don't care about now. I didn't even care about back then. I just know. Yeah, summer late in the state. Let's go.
Meanwhile, CMR will be heating the streets up with the Hot Boys, PG, and Juvenile. The U, by this time, was off the label. P would be having major mainstream success at the time, but not without controversy. Before leaving the label, the U and CMR would accuse P of stealing the term "Bout It," which was one of the U's classic hits. This wouldn't be the only thing that P would be accused of stealing. CMR would also accuse P of attempting to steal the term Hot Boys before Cash Money could present the group nationwide. P would go on to mock CMR. He would be quoted in interviews as saying, "Them boys are local, I'm nationwide." Cash Money artists would take slight digs at No Limit in their music. Their beef.
Hear me out. Just hear me out. Master P, did you though? Yeah, let's be real, yeah. Nobody, and I mean no, let's be real. Let's completely be real. Cash Money have continued to have a career. All right, let's not put it just on Cash Money, but if you're talking about Lil Wayne, those from Hot Boys, BG, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Turk, them man there, yeah, they've had a career, and let's just say Lil Wayne instead, right? Think about it. Logically speaking, like, I don't know. To me, he probably did, or maybe he didn't. It was just a case of, well, from the end anyway. So, you know what I mean? I'm about it.
Will go on to forever be a part of New Orleans history. This was the story of the Cash Money No Limit beef.
Almost thought that was part of it. I was like, what's going on?
PG is a solo artist, plus he's a member of the Hot Boys. Turk is a part of the Hot Boys. Lil Wayne is a part of the Hot Boys, which will be doing his solo album. And I know y'all all know Juvenile, who is a solo artist, and he's a Hot Boy. You got me and my dog Fresh. He do all beats, game spitting, however you want to live it, nickname it how you want it. Sugar Slim called all shots, and I'm the #1 stunner.
And I'm the #1 stunner. Yeah, Slim is the raw boss. He literally just did it.
Lil Wayne will begin his career as a preteen, delivering hardcore Southern hip-hop. Through years of maturation and prolific output, during which the delivery of his humorous wordplay and rhyme gradually changed from childlike and witty to stoned and raspy. Wayne would develop into a multi-million unit selling artist with a massive body of work. One so inventive and cunning that it makes his claim of being the best rapper alive worth considering by many. Wayne would debut at the age of 11.
See, you know when he said that, yeah, best rapper alive, said the best rapper retired. I never ever considered him the best rapper. Never. I still don't. I still don't. He's a dope lyricist, don't get me wrong, but I just don't see him at that level. And that's mainly because of the lyricists that I've been hearing before him and during his time as well. Like when he was in his actual prime. Like before the Carter 3. I'm talking about the Carter 2. That era, like from that era before, I'm talking about, you know what I mean? I'm talking about mixtape Weezy. That era. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like maybe one could argue and say, yeah, he is the best rapper, but depends on your age, depends where you come from, and is what it is. He's influenced many. So let's go.
And received his first platinum certification 5 years later as a member of the Hot Boys. Immediately thereafter, becoming a formidable solo artist with the release of The Block Is Hot in 1999. This would be his first of 12 top 10 albums on the Billboard 200 during a period of constant output entailing not just successful lengths, but also reputation-building mixtapes and featured appearances on pop hits like Destiny Child, Soldier.
You know what's mad, yeah?
Wayne will reach mainstream superstar status with the release of The Carter 3 in 2008, a triple platinum blockbuster that will produce the #1 pop hit, Lollipop, and the #6 follow-up, Emily. The Carter 3 would net Wayne 3 Grammy Awards, including Best Rap Album, throughout the 2010s, despite numerous legal and creative battles. Wayne will continue to be a regular presence on the upper reaches of the charts with albums such as The Carter 4 that were released in 2011, and I'm Not a Human.
The thing about Lil Wayne, yeah, his work ethic is incredible. Like, it's incredible. It's literally incredible. There was literally a time where 1 year alone, if he's not on, yeah, he was in the charts, basically top 10, if I remember. I think like 6 out of them as either some of his songs or at least a feature. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I remember and that's what I recall.
Being that were released in 2013, solidifying his status as a tour headliner, all while continually lengthening his list of collaborative hits, including the platinum Sucker for Pain off the Suicide soundtrack in 2016, and the DJ Khaled smash hit released in 2017. Wayne would top the Billboard 200 with consecutive LPs, The Carter 5 in 2018 and Funeral in 2020. Weezy will continue to issue 9 album singles and mixtape like his 2021 Rich the Kid collaboration, Crush Fund Babies, and 2023 Nobody featuring DMX.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation.
Born September 27, 1982, Sabicita, Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. will be raised in the infamous New Orleans neighborhoods of the 17th Ward, Holly Grove, and the New Orleans East. Throughout his school years, Lil Wayne would be a straight-A student. Two of the schools that he would attend would be Abe and McMain. Wayne never felt his true intelligence was expressed.
I noticed that about some lyricists. If they are in school, they're top A students. I've noticed that. For example, Chip, aka Chipmunk, if you know, you know. Top lyricist, but I remember when he was getting his G6, no, was it his GCSEs or his A levels? I can't even remember what it was. Like he got good grades, like great grades, should I say? Like it's just one of those things. That is what it is.
To any kind of report card, he would find music was the best way to express himself, earning him the nickname Toon from his stepfather, Rabbit, who would sadly lose his life to the streets. After taking the name Gangsta D, he will begin writing gangsta rhyme. Combining a strong work ethic with aggressive self-promotion, at 11 years old, Wayne will convince Baby of Cash Money Records to sign him to the label. Sita, who was reluctant at first, would eventually allow Wayne to sign. A year later, Wayne and BG will partner with Manny Fresh and be dubbed the Bee Gees and release the album True Stories. BG will go on to release Chopper City. In 1997, Wayne will be rumored to have accidentally shot himself in the chest. Wayne would later reveal in interviews and in his music that it wasn't an accident at all. He had actually tried to take his own life. The same year of the Chopper City release, Weezy will officially run with the moniker Lil Wayne. Wayne will go on to state that he dropped the D from his first name in order to
I don't know if I've heard an interview before, but
separate himself from a father who had never been in his life. Wayne would join fellow label mates BG, Juvenile, and Turk to form the Hot Boys, who would release their debut album, Get It How You Live, in 1997. In 1998, Cash Money will sign a major distribution deal with Universal Records.
Street famous.
See, I think how he should have started this was knowing who came first, which was No Limit. But this is why I'm reacting to this and letting people understand. But either way, this is just, it doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter about the timeline, because it does. That's why the other documentary was a bit more clearer. It was clearer, but it wasn't in depth. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't in depth. Like, it got the backstory and letting us know that it was Scotty that basically sponsored Master P at first. This is prior to him even starting a record label or even starting a record store or whatever. It was just to sponsor him to do his basketball. So that will have a basketball career. So that's one thing. The other thing is understanding that the reality of life is sometimes it's through certain situations that you gotta understand. Everyone can inspire everyone, innit? So maybe Birdman was inspired by No Limit. And I think I remember him saying it in one interview, though. I can't remember what interview it was. He did say it. But let's go.
With major mainstream distribution, the Hot Boys Guerrilla Warfare album will reach the #1 spot on Billboard's top R&B hip-hop albums chart list. In 1998, Lil Wayne was featured on Juvenile's hit single, Back That Thing Up, that would appear on Juvie's 400 Degrees album. Wayne would launch his solo career a year later with the album The Block Is Hot, featuring the hit single The Block Is Hot. The album would go double platinum. Wayne still had not reached middle America, as his hardcore rhymes and tough Cash Money sound had not yet crossed over. Wayne's second album, Lights Out, in 2000 will fail to match the success of The Block Is Hot. Lights Out will go gold. Weezy will go on to feature on the Big Timers hit single, #1 Stunner. Wayne's audience will be rapidly growing. While Wayne will credit Fresh for being primarily responsible for launching his music career, Weezy will be much closer to Bryan Williams, aka Baby. When Juvie left the label, Wayne will show his loyalty.
He did, yeah. But think about it this way, yeah. You know, with the production, sometimes you need that producer, that one producer. It's all it takes. Once you click with that producer, instant magic. Let's go.
To Baby by releasing 500 Degrees, 2002, which would go gold. Rumors would begin to fly about Cash Money's financial troubles and possible demise. The rest of the Hot Boys had left. Wayne's planned 2003 album would be scrapped. It would instead be released as an underground mixtape called The Drought. Wayne would begin to single-handedly take over the mixtape world after The Drought had drawn so much attention from the hip-hop press. Weezy used these underground releases to build anticipation for his next official album, The Carter, that will release in 2004. The single, Go DJ, will reach number 5 on the hip-hop single
Go
chart.
DJ,
Wayne.
that's my DJ. Go DJ. Listen, I wish I know the situation, yeah, but like, if Lil Wayne was at that versus, hey yo, it would have been a different night. It would have been a different night. Go DJ, that's my DJ. Listen, he's got bangers on that album, you know, and the Carter too. Listen, Lil Wayne before the Carter 3, I don't think people understand. That's the Lil Wayne that I wish he still was till this day. I get it, growth, maturity, this, that, and the third, and I get it. Sometimes I don't know what his state of mind is right now. You know what I mean? I don't know what his health is like right now, but you know what I mean? We want to see him perform live and do good, but you know what I'm saying? If he is under the influence, may he, you know, end up becoming sober to the point where he's able to have good health, and if he wants to perform again like that properly, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Because I mean, he's a talented guy. Can't even deny that. Regardless, like work ethic, everything, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Go on to feature on Destiny Child single, Soldier. Wayne had officially crossed over. Wayne would continue to feed the streets with a slew of mixtapes released in 2005. Dedication with DJ Drama and the suffix with DJ Khaled. Cash Money's future was no longer in doubt, and traditional music business rules no longer seemed to apply. Wayne's tracks will be leaked onto the internet in various DJ mixtapes. Get something with another bold move.
Allegedly on LimeWire. I'm just saying allegedly. 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 I don't know. A little birdie told me. Allegedly. No, allegedly. For real, for real. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
All I wanted was a zero minimum manufacturer, and then I found Tapstitch.
As Universal funded video was made without the track ever seeing the light of day. With its alternative marketing scheme working in overdrive, the 2005 release of the Carter 2 will be a major event, selling over 250,000 copies the week of its release. Fireman and Shooter with Robin Thicke will be released as singles. This album, for the first time, would have no production from Manny Fresh. The album will go platinum. Just from Weezy Future Young Money label would appear on the album. The following year, Wayne and Baby will release Father Like Son album.
I didn't know that. Listen, starting like my dad. Listen. Oh man, I wish he was at Versus still, but I understand. Hit the subscribe button. First of all, shout out to all the returning subscribers. Get me, you know, a real one. Let's keep it moving.
To the hit single, Starting Like My Daddy. With his mixtape still flooding the underground, including Dedication 2, Wayne was bubbling. With no official follow-up to the Carter 2, in sight, numerous collaborative tracks will keep Weezy in the mainstream, like Gimme That by Chris Brown, Make It Rain by Fat Joe, and Duffel Bag Boys by Clear Circle. All three.
This is what I was saying earlier. I was literally saying there was an era where Lil Wayne was on so many features there, and it wasn't like they were bad verses. They were pure quality. Like I'm telling you, Lil Wayne, that era, unstoppable.
3 becoming big hits. The Carter 3, that was slated for 2007, wouldn't drop until a year later. The Carter 3 would drop in May of 2008, selling more than 1 million copies in the first week. With an appearance on Saturday Night Live and a handful of Grammys, Wayne's mainstream acceptance would be undeniable. Wayne would go on to perform at the Country Music Awards with Kid Rock, where he would play the guitar. The guitar playing will be part of Wayne's new involvement with rock music, including his help in signing Kevin Rudolph to Cash Money Records, plus an appearance on Rudolph's massive hit, Let It Rock. Wayne will release his Young Money mixtape.
So when people say, oh, Lil Wayne shouldn't, why is he doing rock? It's not out of the blue. It's not out of nowhere. You got to deep the history. You know what I mean?
Young Money is the Army, better yet, the Navy. The official album, We Are Young Money, will drop that same year. Wayne's in early 2010. Shortly after, Wayne will be sentenced to 9 months for criminal possession of a firearm. Wayne will do his Joes in PC on Rikers Island.
Free at last. After serving 8 months in prison, Grammy Award-winning rap star Lil Wayne has been released from New York's Rikers Island. He was sent there after a loaded firearm was found on his tour bus last year in Manhattan. But prison has not halted the career of this popular artist. Lil Wayne released a new album in September titled I Am Not a Human Being, which topped the Billboard charts at #1 last month. And with his first day out of captivity, there's already plans to celebrate. Close friends will host a lavish homecoming celebration for him in Miami this weekend, and industry insiders are buzzing about what's next. MTV reports that he might soon perform along with fellow star Drake in Las Vegas. Ken Lombardi, CBSNews.com, New York.
Oh wait, Drake was there at that time as well. Raw.
The Carter 4 will finally drop in 2011 with the lead single 6'7". The album will reach the top spot on the Billboard 200.
That beat was cold though. I can't lie. That beat was filthy.
In 2013, Wayne will be slammed with criticism for a controversial verse he spit on Future's Karate Chop, where he made a reference to Emmett Till, the young black teenager that was gruesome in 19.
Now, the thing is, it's not like it's the first time he had a backlash in regards to lyrics. I think there was another thing on the Carter 3 as well, where he made reference to he made a reference. I forgot what the reference was, but he's had a few backlashes, man.
1955 by white men. Wayne will go on to release his second volume of I Am Not a Human Being. The album will debut at #2, featuring the singles No Worries and Love Me. A sequence of singles to make up for the delayed The Carter 5 will ensue. Believe Me, featuring Drake, in addition to Wayne's stockpile of certified platinum hits. Another track, Nothing But Trouble, featuring Charlie, will drop in 2015 as a contribution to the soundtrack for 808 the movie. That same year, to make up for fan disappointment over the Carter 5 delays, Wayne will release Sorry for the Wait. In 2016, Wayne will become embroiled in a legal battle with Birdman and Cash Money Records. Further,
and this adds to why Lil Wayne was not at the VERZUZ. But there's more to it than just this.
Complicating the fate of the Carter 5. These continued delays will prompt the release of the Free Weezy album. By the end of the year, Wayne will publish a memoir about his time spent at Rikers Island, Gone Till November, and scored another hit with Sucker for Pain, a collaboration for the chart-topping Suicide soundtrack. The All-Star track will top the Billboard rap charts and rise to #3 on the R&B hip-hop charts. DJ Khaled will become one of Wayne's biggest collaborations the following year, topping the pop chart on his way to quintuple platinum.
Yeah, you know what? You know that what tune was it? Feed Me. I can't remember the what was it? I can't remember the thing, but basically the song title, but the lyrics. He had the best verse ever on that. He had the best verse. No one can't tell me nothing. Feed me rappers, I'm a beast. I'm untamed, I need a leash. While I listen, Lil Wayne's a beast.
Will finally drop the Carter 5 after joining Blink 182 in 2019 for a co-headline tour and mashup single, What's My Age, that will feature a broad range of guests. J-Rock, Lil Baby, and XXXTentacion. It will drop in January of 2020 and enter the Billboard 200 at the top. In July of the same year, Wayne will release his 2015 mixtape, the Free Weezy album, as FWA. The project has seen an exclusive release only on one streaming service 5 years earlier, but the wider release will be different, with some tracks omitted completely and new mixes of songs that formerly included uncleared samples. 2021 will see the tracks B.B. King Freestyle featuring Drake and Funeral. Both will top the Billboard charts, and the release Ain't Got Time. In October of that year, Wayne will team up with Rich the Kid for the 10-song mixtape Trust Fund Baby. The project included only one featured guest spot from YG. In January of 2022, Wayne's 2011 mixtape, Sorry for the Wait, will drop on streaming services for the first time. The newly refreshed version of the tape would include 4 songs recorded around the time of its re-release, including guest spots from Lil Tika and Alan Cubas. In February of 2023, Wayne would drop I Am Music. I Am Music would include some of Wayne's best known, best loved, and best performing songs from across his career. That album would debut at #25 on on the Billboard Top 200. Wayne had made it. His status in the music world had changed from rapper to rock star. All would be peaches and cream as Wayne's extracurricular activities would impact his health.
And this is the thing, yeah. It's amazing how his career started. You know what I mean? It's very amazing. Like, it was like a slow, if you're talking from a mainstream perspective, it was very slow. If you're talking from like the streets perspective, oh, it won't really that slow. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Anyway, shout out to all the returning subscribers. Leave a comment in the comments below. We'll get on to it, you know what I'm saying?
Blockchain, crypto, it's happening everywhere. And it's happening with Ripple.
I think what they failed to also mention is the whole, when it comes down to the Hot Boys, the chain bling bling, yeah? You know what I mean? That changed hip-hop culture. You know what I mean? That term bling bling, like that term bling bling comes from that song. You understand? So even the way people dress and all that stuff there, even if you think about, this is what I'm trying to say, K-pop culture and hip-hop culture, I'm not saying they're the same, but the influences are there, right? So if you think about it, the bling bling, you have Lil Wayne and Hot Boys to thank for that. Or should I say no, Cash Money for that. And if you're talking about curating a label where it's consistently churning out quality artists year in, year out on a consistent basis that are always like charting out, you know what I'm saying? Or always churning out numbers irrespective of technology change. Look at Cash Money, look at YG Entertainment. I'm not saying they're the same label. I'm just saying, I'm not saying YG Entertainment do that, do underhand tactics to the artists. I'm not saying that. But the point I'm trying to make is, you get it. Let's go.
I'm James Vallis. Hip-hop artist Lil Wayne's private plane has made an emergency landing in Nebraska after he suffered a seizure and blacked out, according to reports which say he has since regained consciousness and is refusing treatment. The incident happened on Monday afternoon when Wayne was flying in a private jet from Milwaukee in Wisconsin to California. It forced the aircraft to divert to Omaha in Nebraska, where it made an emergency landing. An ambulance responded to the scene and checked out Wayne, according to TMZ.com, which said Wayne had since regained consciousness and is refusing medical treatment. Other details were not immediately available. There was no immediate comment from authorities or Wayne's representatives. Stay with BNOnews.com for the very latest and follow us on Twitter throughout the day for breaking news up.
How mad that is. But yeah, man, I hope he gets sober properly and you know what I mean? Health is wealth, man. Let's go.
Updates as it happens at BNO News.
Rapper Lil Wayne was rushed to the hospital after he was found unconscious in Chicago. Reports say he suffered multiple seizures in a hotel room yesterday. The 34-year-old was forced to cancel his Las Vegas performance last night. Just last year, the rapper's private plane made an emergency landing after he suffered a seizure. 4 years ago, Lil Wayne revealed he is epileptic and prone to seizures.
And is that because of the narcotics he's been taking?
In the Valley last night, a Grammy Award-winning rapper has been detained at a border checkpoint on possession of Action 4's Raphael has the latest.
Hey!
That's right, Lacey. You heard about it here first on Action 4 News. Rapper Lil Wayne.
Hi, my name is VERZUZ, aka I could be an untrusted and you can judge when it comes to all things reactions. But by the way, my name is Raphael too, by the way. Just so you know. Anyway, let's go.
Wayne was detained at the Falfurrias checkpoint earlier today, according to a Border Patrol supervisor. These are YouTube images of Lil Wayne's concert at the Dodge Arena on Thursday. This afternoon, agents in Falfurrias detained 12 people, including the popular rapper, on board 2 tour buses.
One of our U.S. Border Patrol K-9 teams alerted to the possible presence of people or narcotics on the bus. led to a secondary inspection at which time we found marijuana, not on any one person, but in the bus.
But they are not releasing how much. Thursday's concert was his first trip to the Valley. The amateur video posted on YouTube of last night's concert shows him performing in front of a packed house. Lil Wayne is a rapper with Cash Money, Universal Motown Records. His real name is Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. He was scheduled to perform in Laredo tonight, but that event was postponed.
Yeah, there was some fans outside, and we did make the announcement to them. They were obviously disappointed, but, we didn't have any incidents or anything like that.
The general manager at the Laredo Entertainment Center, where he was scheduled to perform, tells Action 4 News they are working on setting up a new date. Lil Wayne has another scheduled performance in Corpus Christi on Sunday, but it is unclear if that concert has been postponed as well. Reporting in the newsroom, Raphael Carranza, Action 4 News.
You know when you hear your name and someone else is saying your name, it's so mad. When you hear it, it's so mad. It's so mad. Raphael Carranza. Obviously, my name's not Carranza, but Raphael Carranza.
Now at 11, police have cleared the scene at a Miami Beach mansion. They raided the place this evening with a celebrity's prized possessions as their target. Rapper Lil Wayne owes someone a lot of money and he isn't paying, so police showed up to collect. CBS 4's Carrie Codd has more.
Miami-Dade police descended on the Miami Beach mansion of rapper Lil Wayne Tuesday afternoon. According to police, they were serving a warrant in a civil case to seize property. We're told police forced their way into the rapper's home, valued at $10.3 million. TMZ is reporting that the police took items to satisfy a court judgment against Lil Wayne for $2 million. TMZ says the judgment is for money the rapper owes to a private jet company. What did police take? TMZ reports that authorities carted out some of Lil Wayne's pricey pieces of art and says he has about $30 million worth of art in his home.
Unfortunately, here's the thing about it's bittersweet. It's a good thing he understands that art is investment. You know what I mean? Because some people are not aware of that. But it's sad that it had to come to that. You know what I mean? To pay off. You know what I mean? No, man. I hope Lil Wayne is good now, man. I don't know, man. It's mad.
Drama here didn't seem to bother this community too much. I spoke to a couple of neighbors off camera. They told me they've never had any problems with Lil Wayne and that they've found him to be an excellent neighbor. This isn't the first time there's been police activity at Wayne's home. Back in March, the Miami Beach SWAT team was called to the house for a prank call of people being shot at the home. During Tuesday's police raid, we're told Wayne wasn't home at the time officers arrived. TMZ reports he's in Los Angeles. On Miami Beach, Carrie Codd, CBS 4 News Tonight.
New at 5, trouble for rapper Lil Wayne. He was charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. According to court documents, today's development stems from a trip to Miami on a private plane last December. That's when authorities say they found the weapon during a search of the jet. The rapper is expected in federal court next month and faces up to 10 years in prison if he's convicted.
This a few minutes ago here tonight, the Miami Herald is reporting federal agents have found guns and coke in a private plane that landed at Miami-Obayuwana Executive Airport today. The paper reports rapper Lil Wayne was on that plane, which brought him here, they say, from California. The report says charges could be filed soon in federal court. His lawyer tells the Herald his client was allowed to leave the airport tonight. The FBI and the ATF are handling the case.
At 5:05 this morning, new from overnight, in one of his last acts as president, Donald Trump issued a long list of pardons. And included on that list, New Orleans native and rapper Lil Wayne, along with his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon. Bannon was accused of defrauding millions of dollars in a fundraising campaign supposedly aimed at supporting President Trump's border wall. The president himself, along with members of his family, were not pardoned.
He doesn't have to announce a pardon. It could be done in private and stuck in his pocket, and we wouldn't know it until he was indicted and pulled it out for a defense.
J. Trump, he wants to make a big deal out of everything. Like Donald Trump. Come on, man.
Same with the kids.
And the pardons were issued very early this morning, even earlier than this morning.
This was the story of Lil Wayne, a.k.a. Weezy F. Baby. Bryan Christopher Williams, a.k.a. Bryan Christopher Brooks, was born February the 15th, 1969, to Gladys Brooks and Johnny Williams. Bryan would go by many names in the city: Baby, B. Bubba, B32, Beatrice, and Actress. Known globally in the entertainment world as Stunner, a.k.a. Birdman. Bryan and his brother, Ronald Williams, are founders of Cash Money Records. Early artists to the label would be Kilo G, Miss T, Lil Slim, UNLV, Mr. Ivan, and Pimp Daddy, just to name a few. With Manny Fresh on the beats, Tiamara would have the underground rap scene on lock. Cash Money's roster would change.
Quick question, leave your answer in the comments below. Who had the better beat production, Cash Money or No Limit? Leave your answer in the comment section below and be completely honest, alright? Let's go.
Over the years, ultimately leading to a $30 million distribution deal with Universal Records. This is the story of Bryan Baby Williams.
You see, now, if I was creating this documentary, I would have put that before Lil Wayne to make things look better. But listen, shout out to...
Atera's AI Copilot helps you solve complex IT issues faster than you can say.
What did I just see?
Okay.
Baby will be born Bryan Christopher Brooks on February the 15th, 1969 at Charity Hospital in New Orleans, Louisiana, to Johnny Williams and Gladys Brooks. Mr. Johnny not signing the birth certificate would lead to Bryan initially taking his mother's last name. For nearly a month after his birth, Miss Gladys still hadn't given Bryan a first name, earning him the nickname Baby. Bryan would be the youngest of his siblings, Ronald and Kim. Mr. Johnny would have other kids outside of the three. Altogether, Bryan would have 10 brothers and 12 sisters. Bryan, Ronald, and Kim would spend their earlier years growing up in the third ward.
Wait, time out. 10 brothers and how many sisters? Yo. It's interesting how back then, you would find in many states and in many areas across the world as well, you would find that many people have many siblings. It's amazing when you think about it. Yo.
At 1233 South Saratoga Street, on top of their family-owned business, Gladys Bar. Everyone knew everyone on Saratoga. It was a family-oriented neighborhood. Bryan would never get a chance to meet his beloved grandmother. She would pass before he was born. Ronald, Kim, and Bryan would come up with the Franken family sisters, Pam and Tammy, mother of Lil Chico, whose dad is Chico out the yo. If you know, you know. Johnny, who was a military vet of 19 years, would meet and marry Dorothy Williams at a young age.
Okay, military vet. See? Who else was a military vet? Wasn't Master P's grandfather or family in? We'll get into that later on. But this is even, yo, it just shows how they were moving militant.
Dorothy would be 16 at the time. Johnny, who was the first sergeant, will be stationed in Germany for 3 years. Upon leaving Germany, Johnny would head to NY, where he would purchase a brand new Pontiac, which they would drive to Arkansas. From Arkansas to the NO, where he would later purchase their first home. Johnny was a betting man and a hustler. One of his first hustles would be loan sharking, loaning $1 on a quarter. For every dollar he would loan, he would receive a quarter interest. Mr. Johnny would get popped for loan sharking and be discharged from the military. Johnny would eventually find himself out of the military prison in Texas.
Yeah.
Bryan, the younger of the siblings, wouldn't be born until after.
If they were paying him enough, do you think he would be doing that? Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real here. Do you know what I mean?
So the family had moved to the Saratoga neighborhood. Baby would be 5 years old when his mom, Miss Gladys, would pass. Kim would be 8, Ronald would be 10. Miss Gladys' brother would fly into town. Learning that Miss Gladys had passed upon his arrival, he would take it upon himself to drive the kids to Canada. The kids would not like Canada and would miss their dad. They would ultimately end up being driven back to the NO. Okay. Without a legal guardian, they would return over to the state. Ronald and Bryan would be admitted to a boys' home for 2 years, while Mr. Johnny would go back and forth to court. Upon proving he was the legal guardian, Baby's last name will become Williams. After the passing of Miss Gladys, Johnny would meet Miss Pat in 1974. 8 months into the relationship, Johnny and Miss Pat would move in together.
Yeah, man, this is making it
Baby
more
will be spoiled at a young age. Unbeknownst to anyone, Johnny will be grooming Baby to understand money in the business. The Saratoga neighborhood will be rough. Johnny will end up being hit up during an attempted robbery. Johnny not
Wait, hold
looking
on. Quick question. At what age did you start learning about money? Leave the answer in the comment section below. And how much do you know about money? Do you know enough? If you don't know enough, don't worry. This channel, we will get into that. This is another reason why I wanted to do a reaction to this, so we could understand that yes, there's a beef. There was a beef between Cash Money and No Limit, and then obviously they had their differences, but at the same time, they're businessmen. Do you know what I mean? So it's a thing of what they've accomplished, how much money they have made. Do you understand? So we're going to get into much stuff later on. Well, later, if you turn on your subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, we 100% will get into that. Get me? Because I'm all about wealth and money and stuff like that. In fact, it's because of Birdman. Birdman especially is one of the main reasons why I've interested in money and wealth. Like, he's one of the main reasons. It's not even a joke. Let's go.
Anybody take something from him would tussle with the robber over the gun and get hit in the side. The robbers would end up getting deleted the very next week. It wouldn't be long before Johnny would move his family. The state would not allow Johnny to live above the bar with his young children, claiming it to be an endangerment to their lives. Johnny will purchase the biggest house on the block in the 13th on VL, 2615 Fallon Street. The Williams were living a good life. One Christmas, while the other kids were riding BMX, the Williams boys would be on mini bikes. Andrew Dunbar, a.k.a. Buddy, Joe Casey Collins, a.k.a. Joe Casey, and KC, who now goes by Shaheed Muhammad, since converting to Islam, would be childhood friends of Baby. The Williams' home would become the meeting place for Baby and his crew. They would all gather in the basement. This would be their sanctuary. Miss Pat will have a son from a previous relationship. His name was Eldrick. Known for having a spirited and humorous personality, Eldrick was also a ladies' man. Giving himself the nickname LL Cool Eldrick. Ladies love Cool Eldrick, a play off the name of the rapper LL Cool J. Baby and his stepbrother Eldrick will be tighter than grip pliers. Baby, who was good at sports, would initially have dreams of being a professional sports player. Johnny would sponsor Baby's little league team that would win 3 championships.
You would have thought that. He has this, as much as they had their differences, they have a lot of similarities. The military background. Now you're telling me sports too? Nah, wait.
Back to back. Johnny would tailgate at these games, placing bets as well as selling food and beer. Those sports dreams would, however, soon turn into street dreams. It wouldn't be long before Baby would start hustling. As an early teen, Baby would be solidified in the streets, known for having bikes and buku whips. Damn near all that boy whips would have candy paint and white interior. In their adolescent years, Williams would attend Holy Ghost Catholic School on Harmony in Saratoga. They would attend several other schools in the city, Green and Carter G. Woodson. In his teen years, Baby would attend the MAC and LC Fortier. After being kicked off the team at the Foe, Baby would dive heavily into the game. Baby would pump out of a trap house for about 2 years. The trap house would have a metal gate with bars surrounding every window and door. Vicks would cop that hard from the mailbox slot on the front door. It wouldn't be long before Baby would sew up the 13th with that work. From there, he would move his operation to the Noya and the rest of the UPT, even making moves downtown. The trap house would get kicked in. Baby would be arrested. At the age of 19, Baby would get popped after coming out of the Thomas, copping at work and catch a Joe's. It was rumored that one of the dudes at the Thomas put them people on him. Baby would do 18 months on a 3-year bid. With the game comes Jack Boys and Nappers. Baby would narrowly escape his demise when he and Joe Casey were jacked downtown. Doing that 18-month Joe's had given Baby an entirely different mindset. Baby would be wiser on the streets and move differently. The Joe's didn't retire him from the game. He would continue to pump, but on a different level, moving them birds and making smarter.
Isn't it interesting though? Like, one situation can make you, it can either make you go up another level, or it can make you change direction completely. That's man.
Calculated moves in the streets. Eldrick's baby stepbrother would sadly lose his life to the streets June 13th of 1991. He had been found face down in another neighborhood on a woman's front porch. After not hearing from Eldrick, Ms. Pat would inform the NOPD. Not being 24 hours at the time, the NOPD would claim they were unable to find a missing persons report. They would advise Ms. Pat to check the city morgue. It would be confirmed that Eldrick had been deleted. The loss of Eldrick would devastate baby. He would be on some F the world type-ish after the passing of Eldrick. Fed up with the streets and looking for a way out, Baby and Slim would put their heads together and, in 1991, launch Cash Money Records. Baby vowed never to look back and would eventually retire from the game. Years later, tragedy would strike. Mr. Johnny would be involved in a horrible car accident and be pronounced brain dead. Mr. Johnny would be taken off life support July 13th of 1996. Mr. Johnny would not get to see his boys explode onto the mainstream music scene. Cash Money will go on to sign a 3-year, $30 million distribution deal with Universal Records in March of 1998, under which they will be given a $2 million advance each year and a credit of $1.5 million for each of the 6 artists they had at the time. After recouping, Universal Records will retain 15% of the profits from album sales, while Cash Money retained 85%, as well as 50% of their publishing, royalties, and ownership of all master recordings.
It's interesting how they got that deal. It's very interesting. But it just shows that over time, if you stay on the right path in terms of consistent grinding,
In 2007, Baby would again find himself in trouble with the law. He would be among 16 arrested on Interstate 81 after a Kingsport police corporal would pull over the driver of the RV rented from Entertainment Coaches of America in Leesburg, Florida, for allegedly making an improper lane change. ABD Corporal Tim Horn would conduct a traffic stop on the driver, Keith Boswell, 38, of Daytona Beach, Florida. After Boswell forced the trailer into an emergency lane to avoid being struck as he attempted to change lanes, the driver would inform the KBD officer that they were headed from New Orleans to New York for a BET shoot. The officer would inquire about the smell of that green coming from inside the RV. This would trigger the officer to call in a search warrant. Upon searching...
Really? Because of the green? If it was anything else, all right, cool, fair enough. But even then, I'm like, all right, it's still a bit of a madness. Hang on, I just realized something. Hold on. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
In the ROV, 1 pound of green will be found in the trash can of the RV's kitchenette. Bryan Williams, Brittany Williams, Ronald Williams would each be charged with possession of that perp, along with 13 others, several of whom were affiliated with Cash Money Records. The third person off the bus, Brandon Thurston, would be strapped with a 9XX tucked in his waistband. The ATF will put on the case after the discovery of a .223 carbine. No weapon charges will be filed at the time. Road manager Shaheed Muhammad, aka KC, Cash Money Records promoter Casey Collins, and music promoter Antonio would be among the remaining 13 arrested during Tuesday afternoon traffic stop that stalled traffic for over an hour and a half on I-81 near exit 59. Dion Crawford, Troy Collins, Michael Gray, Carl Bryant, George Betty, Norman Cobbins, and Jermaine Prian would all be charged with the green. They would all somehow be allegedly employed as either a rapper or something else with Cash Money Records. The RV was moved to a secure location. Police will conduct a more thorough search of the RV to determine if there were more drugs or weapons will be found. Nothing else will be found on the RV. In 2000,
of course there wouldn't be nothing else found. They're just being haters. Clearly. At this point, they're just being haters. I don't care what nobody says. That's hating. They really told you where they were heading towards.
12, Baby will find himself the center of attention for an incident that he had nothing to do with. Accuser Nicole Westmoreland would bring charges against a member of CMR's entourage and falsely accuse Baby of having knowledge of the incident. Baby will be cleared on any and all accusations.
Well, a College Park woman is asking a judge to make a record company responsible for an assault committed by one of its employees.
Now, the woman claims she was supposed to be given an opportunity to make a business presentation, but instead She says she was, quote, exposed to drugs and activity before the act took place.
And Fox 5's Morse Diggs is here now with both sides of a legal battle. Morse.
Amanda, the record company, is a giant in the rap music industry, Cash Money Records. Their attorney told me the owners deny the claims in the civil lawsuit, and he vows the young woman's story won't hold up before a jury.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with
This College Park woman says her attempt to conduct business with a recording company ended badly, very badly.
I was followed to the bathroom, forced inside. And
Nicole Westford Cleveland as the man who committed. He told authorities when they took him into custody that he worked for Cash Money Records. The criminal case has already been handled through a negotiated plea. Cleveland got jail time. Attorney Charles Hodges, on behalf of the young woman, has a civil lawsuit pending against the record company. How big is Cash Money? The label's artists include Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and others considered top-shelf talent. Atlanta is red hot right now for music. Even out-of-town firms like Cash Money will lease studio space to do business here. The company did just that at this building in northwest Atlanta. And that is where Westmoreland claims Bryan Williams, a co-owner of Cash Money, invited her to come for a presentation. Williams was not involved in any way.
I was invited by members of Cash Money for a presentation. I was hesitant at first to go to the studio, but I was assured that I would be safe.
Once inside, Westmoreland says instead of seeing a business client, she saw something much different.
There were drugs and activity going on.
In the lobby?
In the lobby.
Feeling uncomfortable, Westmoreland says she retreated to the ladies' room to weigh her next move. That's when she says Cleveland took advantage and followed her inside.
As a result of trusting these individuals, she experienced the most dramatic event a woman could go through. And certainly there should be some liability on the part of those who invited her to that premise.
Cash Money Records has retained Clarksville lawyer James Cox to handle the civil complaint.
An employer is not liable for the criminal acts of employees unless they should have foreseen those acts were going to occur.
Cox claims Miss Westmoreland's account of what happened that evening is full of holes. When Cox answers the charges, he will tell Fulton County jurors that Cash Records owner Bryan Williams does not recall having any kind of business conversation.
Give me a second. I need to make a call real quick. All right.
With the young woman. Besides, he'll say Westmoreland went to the studio late at night. And who makes an introductory call late at night? He says that Westmoreland was there just hanging out and brought some female friends along. Westmoreland concedes only that, looking back, she was in the wrong place.
I felt like I'd made a very, very bad decision to go in the first place. And I was scared. The way I felt then is the way I still feel now. I feel like I've lost a part of myself that I will never get back.
Now, Cash Money says the notion that the young lady was lured to the lease studio to be attacked is ridiculous. And Cox says Cash Money absolutely did not allow its lobby to be filled with people doing this and having Amanda and Russ.
All right. Now, we know in civil cases the burden of proof isn't as strong as in criminal cases. What kind of chance does she have? Do we know?
Well, it's going to come down to her credibility as well as Mr. Williams. What kind of representations did he make to her? I'll tell you what the defense attorney is concerned about, though. The overall image of the rap music industry, overall, the genre. He's concerned that if the jurors look at the overall industry and not the facts in this case, he could be in trouble.
All right. Morse, thank you.
Since then, CMR has gone on to become the biggest and longest lasting rap label in the industry.
That's actually true. If you consider Def Jam recording, it's like
1991 will be the year of the bounce music explosion in New Orleans, ignited by acts such as T.T. Tucker and DJ Irv. Over the next few years, several independent labels will quickly begin to grow on the scene. Bryan Baby Williams and Ronald Sugar Slim Williams would launch their own label, Cash Money Records. Kilo G will be one of the first artists on CMR. His debut album would be The Sleepwalker, which was produced by Roe and Goldfingers. Take 4, another label at the time, will be releasing music as well. CMR will rely on local distributors like Gonzalez Music and Southwest Distribution. It is rumored that Ziggy will put them in the game with Manny Fresh. Fresh, who will produce releases for other local labels, will become Cash Money's in-house producer. With Fresh on the tracks, CMR will sell somewhere near 23 million records. Fresh's first effort on the label will be PMW.
And this is what's so amazing. It's the fact of when it comes down to record labels, there's always that thing where you have the record label itself, but then you need that producer, you need that rapper. But usually it's that when you have that producer and that rapper together, like I said before, magic, man.
Who initially went by Big Man was out the Ville. The debut album, Legalized Past the Green, will be released in '93, featuring Lil Slim, UNLV, Mr. Ivan, and Bun B. This release will come after UNLV's Six and Barone. The uptown-based UNLV was initially Reginald Tech 9 Manuel and Yafet Lil Ya Jones, who formed in 1992 and will rock block parties, clubs, and gong shows. It wouldn't be long before Lil Slim, The Game is Cold, will be released. The U would add one more member, Albert Yellow Boy Thomas. With Manny Fresh 5 tracks, the U will be recognized for creating the sound which is now known today as gangsta bounce music. Lil Slim out the Grove represent Apple and Eagle. Baby, who would go by B32, will release his own music, Need a Bag of D. Lil Slim will rock bars in the city, such as 4-9. The Game is Cold would also feature Pimp Daddy, a local bounce rapper, out the 9. Pimp will go on to release his debut album, Still Pimpin', in 1994. Rumors will circulate that Pimp was dating Miss T and had a baby by Cheeky Black. Not long after that, Pimp would be deleted. UNLV's second album, Straight Out the Gutter, will be another banger. Mr. Ivan, 187, and the Hockey Mask will go on to sell 60,000 units. Unbeknownst to many, Lil Ya deserves credit for the huge success of CMR. Ya would act almost as an A&R, bringing new unsigned talent to the label. Lil Slim, Powder Shop.
This is what you need, an A&R. An A&R. See, look, this is why, once again, yeah, when it comes down to the creation of these labels, I'm telling you, it's different levels. We need to dive deep into it properly. Let's go.
Away from bounce, the sound will be more that of gangster rap. On Lil Slim's Thuggin' and Pluggin', Manny Fresh's production will be made more conscious to West Coast style rappers. UNLV's Mac Melf Callio will be another banger and a hood classic. It will go on to sell 80,000 copies. Tech 9, Straight from the Rap, will be an underrated cult classic. Cash Money will begin to purge his roster and invest in new, younger talent. Two of those investments will be 13-year-old Lil Doobie, Christopher B.G. Dorsey, and 11-year-old Lil Wayne. The two will be credited as a duo on the Bee Gees' The True Story album, which will feature them both. UNLV's Uptown for Life will be described as their best body of work. Again, teaming up with Manny, they would drop the hit single, Drag 'Em in the River. Uptown for Life will go on to sell 200,000 copies. BG will release the classic Chopper City, which will sell 25,000 copies out the gate. CMR will re-release Pimp's album in '96. Miss T will drop her album Female Baller the same year. Ya, as mentioned earlier, will put Juvie in the game with Baby. Juvie was signed and soon after dropped Soldier Rags. The album will go on to sell 200,000 copies. BG, It's All On You, Volume 1 and 2 will be released in 4 short months. Both are still today hood classics. CMR, with a suggestion from Terrence Gangster Williams, would launch the Hot Boys. The group will consist of BG, Wayne, Juvie, and Turk. The group will release Get It How You Live, which will go on to sell 75,000 units. Baby and Fresh will later form the Big Timers, dropping How You Love That. June.
Bear in mind, this is a time when physical copies were being sold. Physical copies. Just bear that in mind.
18th of 1998, CMR will go nationwide. The rest would be history. This was the story of Bryan, Birdman Williams.
Make sure you turn on your post notifications.
Let's just say Birdman, Lil Wayne beefing, they split. Do you go Birdman or Lil Wayne?
Okay. What was it like after you got them their deal and they didn't want to pay you?
It was frustrating. This individual here, Wendy Day, like, yes, she helped in a sense Cash Money to get that deal with Universal Music, but other than that, what else do you do? You know what I mean? Like, what else do you do? Are you like? I'm curious to know. Was she like? What do you do? Because I've heard this talk a load of was about, not even a load, but it was like there was some incorrect information she was talking about Tupac. I'm like, come on, man. You really think you're really lying on someone that's not here to speak for himself? And even then, when he was able to speak for himself, he literally said out his own mouth several times what happened. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
I mean, you know, the thing about Cash Money is that, you know, in order to get paid, you have to sue them.
Tell baby I want my money. The Carter 5 would drop in September of 2018 and rock the hip-hop world with the SWIZZ BEATZ produced Uproar. The Carter 5 would take Falsetto Kenny near the top of the Hot 100 with Mona Lisa and bring Nibia back with Dope, New Gospel. The Carter 5 isn't complete just talking about the hits. The project will suffer 4 years of delays and dissolve one of hip-hop's tightest bonds. Wayne was just 9 years old when he met the man he would call his Paul, Bryan Birdman Williams. There's no secret as to what would happen next. Juvenile's Cash Money's records taking over for the 9-9 in the 2000s was a legit prophecy. The label will become one of the most dominant of the 21st century. Lil Wayne will become hip-hop's most prolific superstar. Before the signing of the following decade's biggest superstars, Drake and Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne and Birdman's commercial peak would come in 2008 with the Carter 3. C3 would likely be the last hip-hop album to earn over 1 million in pure album sales in its first week. It was that unmatched success and their openly La Familia-like bond that would make their very public falling out over the delay of the Carter 5 so disheartening to fans. January 13th, 2015, Lil Wayne would announce a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money. The following 3 years would include Wayne's bus getting hit up, Wayne stopping mid-concert to yell F Cash Money.
And see, this is why you need to understand why he was not there at VERZUZ. It's sad, man. It's sad.
I just want to turn y'all up for a second. You already know what it is. Free Weezy album coming soon. Carter 5 coming soon. Fuck Cash Money.
Fake public hugs and desperate tweets from Wayne hitting at retirement. Let's take a look back at Lil Wayne's beef with Birdman and Cash Money Records. This is the story of the Birdman versus Lil Wayne $51 million beef.
It's mad deeper, man.
The first cracks in the armor would appear after Lil Wayne would express his frustration with his longtime label, Cash Money Records, via Twitter. The Carter 5 was slated to drop on December 9th. Wayne would claim Birdman forced him to delay the project. Wayne would tweet, "I want off this label and nothing to do with these people. Unfortunately, it ain't that easy. I'm a prisoner and so is my creativity." Despite the harsh word from Wayne, the day prior, Cortez Bryan would report to TMZ that there was no beef. Everything was good between Birdman and Wayne. Regardless of what Cortez has reported, Wayne would sound very unhappy with his label situation. At Vice's 20th anniversary party in Brooklyn, Wayne would be one of the many musical guests. Weezy would yell to the crowd that he's effed up in a bad situation, but he will be out of...
Are you ready to go?
of it soon. Mac Main would sit down with Miami's 99 Jams to discuss the label drama. He would state that the Carter 5 will be coming out in the first quarter of 2015. He would also give his thoughts on the fight. He would go on to say, "I wouldn't pinpoint anyone personally. That's my uncle and my brother that you're talking about. I keep a positive vibe about everything." Further stating that it was just some business that needed to be handled. Once that's handled, they will keep it moving. Everybody has their breaking point. I support Wayne 1000%. I feel like this matter will get resolved. Period. If I'm still around, it will be resolved. With tensions coming to a head, Cortez Bryan posted a LinkedIn message to Instagram, slamming Cash Money Records and arguing that Wayne had put the label on his back for a very long time. Cortez would write Wayne carry Cash Money on his back for over 10 years, when he could have left and did his own thing. Wayne's the most loyal person I know on earth. He doesn't deserve this ish. He's going through it at this point in the game. Lil Wayne built Young Money from his dreams to reality, launched the careers of Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga, not from their talent, but from the belief he had in them. January 25th of 2015, Wayne will file a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money. The lawsuit will claim that Birdman was violating the terms of his contract by withholding the Carter 5. The lawsuit will seek to end his contract with Cash Money and take all of his Young Money signings with him, most notably Drake and Nicki Minaj. Although reluctant to discuss his legal issues, Wayne would tell Rolling Stone magazine that he's not on speaking terms with Birdman. He would also give an update on the Carter 5, saying it is super done. Cake bake, icing on top, name on top.
And this just goes to show you that if you do wrong to people, this is the result. You could be loyal to someone for a fault for years and years, and then you got a breaking point, and it's different, man. Or they got a breaking point, it's just different.
Candles lit. I would have released it today if I could, but it's a dead subject right now. It's a jewel in the safe. It's that stash house money. March 14 of 2015, Lil Wayne would diss Birdman and Young Money's Up Next cipher, rapping Young MFing Money. These my MFing brothers, not my effing hubbies, and sang it Hit 'em Up to my daddy. On April 2nd of 2015, Wayne would yell F Cash Money while on stage in Jacksonville, Florida. In April of 2015, social media outlets will report that Wayne is dropping his lawsuit against Cash Money. This wouldn't be the case. Wayne had only moved the suit to New Orleans from his original filing in New York City. The claims previously filed by Lil Wayne and Young Money LLC against Cash Money for substantial monies owed and breach of contract had not been settled and would be prosecuted in Louisiana as well. April 26th of 2015, Lil Wayne's tour bus would be hit up in Atlanta. The bus would be hit up as it was pulling away from a performance at the Compound nightclub in Atlanta. Wayne and his Young Money artist, Lil Twist, were on board. No one was injured. Atlanta police were not immediately able to identify.
And then we hear Young Thug talk about this, and we find out. Do you know what I mean? Listen. It's mad. Birdman has done so many people wrong. But even to do Lil Wayne wrong, who literally put your label on a map, differently. Like, think about it. There's no Drake, no Nicki Minaj without Lil Wayne. That's just a simple fact. And as much as I detest Drake. Like Nicki Minaj, I can tolerate. You know what I mean? Like, she can have a little rants here and there. You know what I mean? But she's a quality MC. That's a super fact. But other than that, like when you deep the context of it all, like, and you look at hip hop right now, you know what I mean? There would have been no Kendrick versus Drake if Lil Wayne didn't carry Cash Money on his back. This is how deep this goes. And it's mad because you got in-house beef, but then you got the beef between Cash Money and No Limit. And that's also just from in-house, or should I say from within the hood as well, or within Third World. It's just mad. But again, publicly, you're saying it's Birdman, but also that's Slim as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's also one of the main business guys. So anyway, let's keep moving.
A suspect. Wayne would again diss Cash Money on A$AP Rocky's Miss. May 29th of 2015, Young Thug affiliate Pee Wee Roscoe will be arrested for busting at Lil Wayne's tour bus. Jimmy Winfrey, aka Pee Wee Roscoe, will be apprehended in connection with hitting up Lil Wayne's bus in Atlanta. The Wayne and Birdman beef was concerning to fans at first. This would bring things to another level. Wayne will be embroiled in an on-again, off-again beef with rapper Young Thug. Thugger would get backlash for trying to name his project the Carter 6. Thug would claim that it was simply in homage to his idol, Lil Wayne. Homage. The Thug-Roscoe connection would draw much suspicion. Roscoe had recently appeared in Thugger's halftime video, clutching a chopper. The indictment would claim that Roscoe had carried out Thug's threats of violence towards Weezy. In June of 2015, Wayne was signed with global royalties company Kobo Neighboring Rights. The company helps artists pursue their royalty payments around the globe. Kobo's powerful tracking system compares collections against detailed in-house expectations to ensure all income is correctly accounted for. Kobo develops these detailed expectations from third-party performance data, territory expectations from Kobo's P distribution health check, as well as from the client's income data. Combining these three data sources allows them to monitor collection and ensures all income is received. January 14th of 2015, Lil Wayne was signed a streaming deal with Tidal. Weezy would announce on stage that he had signed a deal with his MFN idol, Jay-Z. Rumors would circulate that Wayne entered into a label distribution deal with Jay's Rock Nation. It would only be a streaming deal with Tidal for Wayne's upcoming Free Weezy album. Wayne would also become the latest artist owner of the streaming service, joining the likes of Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, Usher, and Alicia Keys.
And this is why Nicki Minaj is mad at Hove. Yeah? This is why she's mad, but he didn't sign a proper contract.
Surface indicated that Lil Wayne was trying to oust Birdman from any involvement with Young Money. Wayne would claim that Birdman has constantly stiffed his artists on their royalties, so much so that he was fearful that his biggest stars, Drake and Nicki Minaj, will walk away from the label altogether whenever their contracts would allow them to. Originally announced back in February of 2015 and referenced heavily by Lil Wayne, his Free Weezy album will become available on Tidal July 4th of 2015. The 15-track album would feature appearances from Wiz Khalifa, Young Jeezy, Corey Guns, and more. Weezy would take another shot at Cash Money, rapping, "Rest in peace, the Cash Money Weezy, he's gone but not forgotten." The album will receive mixed critical reviews, racking up over 10 million streams in its first week of availability. On July 12th of 2015, it will be rumored that Birdman and his entourage will throw drinks at Lil Wayne when a performance at Club Live. On July 15th of 2015, an indictment will claim Birdman and Young Thug conspired to delete Lil Wayne when his tour bus was hit up in Atlanta. The Cobb County indictment will claim that Birdman and Young Thug conspired for Pee Wee Roscoe to crush Lil Wayne in April. The indictment would also highlight the connection between Roscoe, Thug, and Birdman, including...
Damn, man. Yo.
Roscoe's appearance in Young Thug's halftime video. Roscoe's phone records show that he was in contact with Birdman and Young Thug directly before and after Wayne's bus was hit.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete
up. Just one day after the explosive indictment connecting him to the attempted crushing of Lil Wayne, Birdman will bring a $50 million lawsuit against Jay-Z and Tidal for streaming Wayne's Free Weezy album exclusively. Birdman will claim Cash Money still holds exclusive rights to all of Lil Wayne's music and that Tidal streams are illegal. The lawsuit will point to a portion of Wayne's disputed Cash Money contract, which stipulates that he has no right to license his own music. July 28th of 2015, veteran hip-hop journalist and radio personality Angie Martinez will sit down with Birdman for an interview. It would be Birdman's first since the drama with Lil Wayne began. Birdman will speak openly about the love he has for Lil Wayne. Birdman will go on to say that Wayne is my son no matter what. That ain't never gonna change. Stunner would deny having anything to do with Pee Wee Roscoe hitting up Wayne's tour bus, saying...
I mean, he's not going to admit, is he? He's not going to admit. But if the evidence is there, the evidence is there.
Craziest ish I ever heard in my life. Birdman will sidestep any questions about the ongoing legal matters over Wayne's music. Outside of Wayne, Birdman would also claim that Drake and Nicki Minaj are very happy with their current contract and will stay with the label even if Wayne left. Court documents will later reveal that Pee Wee Roscoe claimed the attempted deletion of Lil Wayne on his tour bus was the result of Wayne and Birdman's financial dispute. Roscoe would insist that Birdman should be held partially responsible for the incident and was a direct party of the crime. Despite trying to shift the blame onto Birdman and Young Thug, an Atlanta judge would hit Pee Wee with a 10-year prison sentence, followed by 10 years of probation. Roscoe would plead guilty to 6 of the 27 counts against him, all of which were gang-related. The previous indictment would implicate Birdman and Lil Wayne in the crime as all well-known members of the Bloods. Neither Birdman nor Young Thug were ever formally charged with a crime in the case. The first signs of a potential reconciliation since the beef began over a year ago of both Wayne and Birdman will be seen at Drake's New Year's Eve party. Later reports will emerge claiming that McMahon brokered a peace agreement between the two by setting up a 2-hour phone call prior to Drake's party. Wayne, who wasn't willing to drop his lawsuit, will be willing to work together to squash the beef. Just a few months after his entourage threw drinks at Wayne in Club Live, Birdman will give a speech on stage at the very same venue and say that he and Lil Wayne have squashed their beef. Birdman will go on to say, "Family never dies. This is my MFing son, and I'll ride or die for him. I'ma live for him, and I'ma MFing kill for him. That ain't never gonna change. YMCMB for life." Birdman will later post a pic of he and Wayne in the studio alongside Yo Gotti. Although Wayne still hadn't dropped the lawsuit, it would seem like the two might reconcile the legal drama any day now. Lil Wayne will go on to file a $40 million lawsuit against Universal Music Group. The lawsuit will be separate from his suit against Cash Money. UMG is Cash Money's parent company.
Okay, that's where Drake got the idea from. Maybe this, but the difference between Drake suing UMG and Lil Wayne suing UMG is the fact of he's realized Drake is doing it because of he lost the battle. Lil Wayne was doing it because at the end of the day, they're the parent company. They're the ones who owe me the money more than Birdman, and maybe just as more. They owe me more. And that's a fair shout. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to hip hop here, I'm all for suing in terms of for financial situation, in terms of contracts and stuff of that nature. You know what I mean? But first of all, you should know what you're signing in the first place. Let's keep it all at 100. But secondly, if you're suing over a rap battle, come on, man, or over a verse that you were supposed to have and it never happened, get out of here with that. Let's go.
The lawsuit will seek to reclaim some of the profits from the success of Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga. Universal reportedly used most of Wayne's portion of the funds to pay down the debt Birdman had accrued, giving out huge advances at Cash Money. Although Young Money is a subsidiary of Cash Money, Lil Wayne owns 49% of it directly, and the lawsuit will be an attempt to reclaim the portion of the profits. A full year and a half later, the beginning of their beef,
Brits born before 1980 with no life insurance may be eligible for this. If you meet
Wayne is back to cursing out Cash Money during performances. F the Bull and F Cash Money, Wayne would yell at Denver's 420 rally. Reports would surface afterwards claiming he and Birdman are still fighting over the Carter 5 and that their attempt at reconciling the lawsuit had failed. All previous settlement talks have apparently been taken off the table, and as such, the entire thing will basically be back where it started. During a Rio 92.3 interview, Birdman would talk about the root of the issues with Wayne, stating that although they are not seeing eye to eye at the moment, it is not like they are enemies. Birdman would also mention that he hasn't talked to Wayne in over a month, but when stuff first popped off between them, they didn't speak for an entire year. Wayne would take to Twitter with a series of tweets indicating he's feeling defeated and hinting that he would retire. Rick Ross would stick his nose into Wayne's and Baby's business by tweeting a quote about trying to get Weezy onto MMG. Ross would tweet, "Get Birdman on the phone." A report from TMZ would cite sources close to Birdman saying that Lil Wayne was in possession of the physical recording of the Carter 5, and he had long refused to hand it over to the label. Birdman would claim that Wayne was essentially holding on to the Carter 5 for leverage during his ongoing legal battle with Cash Money. According to the legal documents obtained by TMZ, Weezy would claim that Birdman took a reported $70 million of the label's $100 million advance as part of Universal Music Group's distribution deal, which the pair had agreed to share. Weezy went on.
Hey, yo, Birdman is Pigeon Man. I'm gonna call him Pigeon Man, because you know in the UK, in London especially, they have pigeons, and pigeons are very disgusting creatures. Put it that way. And so that's how I'm gonna sum up Pigeon Man or Birdman. Because hey, yo, and obviously we haven't even got into where we have in a group, and we haven't. But it looks like with this particular thing we're watching, they haven't really got into the truth between the Cash Money and the No Limit beef. That more or less happened in the first one we watched, where, just to summarize, what happened was, at the beginning, you have someone named Scully who basically is the godfather of New Orleans, and basically because of the money he was making and he just decided, you know what, anyone that has potential, and you know what I mean, he's going to help those people, and one of them happened to be Percy Miller, aka Master P, and he tried to help him with scholarship, basically to sponsor him with his sports endeavors. And unfortunately, Master P got an injury, and then after that, there's so many intricate details into everything, and it makes sense to why that beef with Cash Money, No Limit happened and how it started. And I still I'll be real with you. Knowing Birdman, yeah, well, I don't know him personally, but knowing of Birdman and how he moves, the situation between Cash Money and No Limit, it ain't never gonna be over. They may have shared the stage together finally at one point, and it's funny because it wasn't even in New Orleans. It was in Las Vegas, out of all places. It should have been in New Orleans. Lil Wayne didn't even show up, and we know why. We know why. It's mad when you deep how much people go through, especially on a financial level and all that stuff there. But like I said before, there's no Drake and Nicki Minaj. Like I said, I detest Drake. I can just about tolerate Nicki Minaj and her rants, even though she's, she can rap when she wants to rap. But like, other than that, it's like there's none of them without Lil Wayne. It's so insane when you deep the levels of this. It's like Cash Money outshone or outdid in terms of business, but not in terms of business, but in terms of understanding the game of the music industry. They've lasted longer. They're still actually going. This is why, as much as people were saying it was a crash out from Birdman, yeah, or aka Pigeon Man, like he was literally promoting NBA YoungBoy. And look, isn't Young Thug still part of I don't even know, man. It's just mad. But growing up listening to the Cash Money and Cash Money records in the early 2000 era, I would have never ever thought it would end up like this. And I said it. Birdman inspired me. Like, you don't understand. That level of stunting inspired me. Seeing it on BET. Like, BET, seeing, like, nah, you don't understand. There's levels to this.
I want to say that Birdman had admitted to taking a lump sum for royalties, marketing, and recording expenses. The judge in Wayne's case would order Birdman to detail how exactly the $100 million advance was spent. Reports would circulate that lawyers for each party were close to reaching an agreement. Birdman would allegedly call off the negotiations to settle their $51 million lawsuit after hearing about Weezy shouting out Rockefeller instead of Cash Money during a performance. July 5th of 2017, Lil Wayne would accuse Cash Money and Universal of preventing him from getting money off of Drake's deal. Lil Wayne would file an amended petition in a New Orleans court, including Birdman, Ronald Slim Williams, as well as Universal Music Group, seeking more than $40 million in actual damages. Wayne would claim that Cash Money was yet to pay him the $8 million advance he's owed for the Carter 5, and is preventing him from receiving any profits he should have made off the success of Young Money acts Drake and Nicki Minaj. Despite his legal battles with Cash Money Records, Lil Wayne would insist he has the power to release the Carter 5 whenever he feels like it. During a phone interview with Wild Wayne on New Orleans Q93 radio station, Wayne would say, and I quote, "Of course you're going to see the Carter 5. I just don't want to put it out the wrong way. Honestly, I can do what I want at any time. The fans deserve it to be right.
Build a website you love with Wix.
For your words, when he had barely any, now he's got like too many.
And that's how it's going to be. I'm going to make sure it's right. I can drop whatever, whenever I want to drop. That's why I keep dropping whenever or whatever I want to drop. But I'm not going to give them the quarter five the wrong way. Birdman will air out his feelings on Instagram Live about opinions that people were having about the Wayne and Baby situation. Baby will go off saying, I've been hearing all of you talking about this Lil Wayne-ish. Lil Wayne this, Lil Wayne that. Ish, Lil Wayne, my son. I raised him. He ain't have nothing. I bought him to be something and got something. You heard me? Y'all don't think I'm gonna make sure he's straight? All y'all can suck a D. I'm gonna show all y'all what's happening and how to stay out my business. It will be nearly 4 years of waiting and fighting. Birdman would again promise Weezy's long-delayed project will see the light of day very soon, without a doubt. Baby will tell Wrap It Up magazine that the album will be dropping soon and will be well worth the wait. Birdman would also promise that the Carter 5 will be the biggest album of 2018. That will put it up against a pretty stacked album roster that year. Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, Drake's Scorpion, Nicki Minaj Queen, Post Malone's Beer Bones and Bentleys, to name a few. Birdman was rumored to be struggling financially by the end of that year. The Blast will report that Birdman could lose his mansion over a $12 million unpaid loan. Rick Ross would again stick his nose in Baby's business, dissing Stunner on Snapchat. Weezy would take another shot at Baby, rapping, no man should have all that power if he can't afford to pay the light bills. He would rap on Bazine, a single off Attica's RGB mixtape. The two former collaborators would appear to reconcile at their beloved Club Live. Birdman would share a photo of him hanging out with Lil Wayne, captioning it, "Me and my son." The Blast would again report the talk between Wayne and Baby would again get heated, as the court would order the label to hand over documents regarding the $51 million lawsuit. Sources will say that after the suit is over, there will be no connection, no ties, and no business relationship. The end of YMCMB was here. Birdman will mostly sidestep questions about his strained relationship with Wayne during interviews. His talks with Beats once Ebro would offer a bit more transparency. Baby will go on to say, we got to get this ish together because it's affecting our kids. That's not cool with me at all. His daughter is my godchild. I love her to death. June 7th of 2018, Lil Wayne and Birdman will finally reach a settlement. After 3 years, the $51 million lawsuit will be finally over. Both parties involved will be tight-lipped about the specifics. The Blast will report that Wayne would only walk away with $10 million. Wayne's attorney, Ron Sweeney, would say in a statement, Lil Wayne is his own man, a man that owns his assets, his music, and himself. At some point, Wayne will let his fans know what's going to happen next. In other words, it appears he's finally in control of his destiny. August 26th of 2018, Birdman would apologize to Lil Wayne. The Louisiana Fest would end with a welcome surprise. Birdman would pop up to apologize to Weezy on stage. It feels amazing to be home with my son. I love him to death. Baby would say to the New Orleans audience, I don't know what y'all know, but I know what I know, and I know how I feel about what I know. I knew this day was going to come, but I ain't know when it was going to come. The two would perform Big Timers Classic, Still Fly. With a lawsuit behind him and an album to drop, Lil Wayne would speak with Billboard about the aftermath of fighting Birdman in the biggest battle of his career, stating, I'm glad that it is finally over. This was the story of Lil Wayne and the Cash Money Birdman beef.
Well, looks like we all got duped because they literally changed the title from the real. They changed the title, didn't they? I mean, shout out to 504 Street Stories and Gangster News Network, but for what it's worth, that's clickbait, nigga. Ninja, that's clickbait. You know, that's clickbait, and I fell for it. I fell for it. Over an hour? You are kidding me. But so he's not getting no like. I ain't gonna lie. Here after the verses, accuracy on point, great breakdown. This really is about more Cash Money Records. See, look. This really is about more Cash Money Records history than the beef with No Limit. He was on beef for 7 minutes. That's like 10% on the video. See, and they posted this comment 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. But it's fine because we're still going to get into the whole situation in regards to the whole No Limit situation. Don't get that twisted, yeah, because that's coming. All right, so I'm gonna say this was definitely about Cash Money versus Lil Wayne. Now, it really was about Cash Money versus Lil Wayne. But another day, we'll get into surviving Birdman, exposing how he, you know what I mean? We'll get into that. Get me? We'll get into that another day. And obviously, we'll get into the whole Miller Boys Untold story. Like, there's so much story to be told, man. Like, there's so much. For now, though, what we're going to get into real quick, because this will be the last one. Hold on, I had the notes here. All right, so now we're going to react to the whole situation in regards to Master P, because I think we obviously now have a clear understanding of what the story, like the backstory. We had the backstory, right? And then we had the backstory to Cash Money versus No Limit. Then we had the story of Cash Money and then Cash Money versus Lil Wayne, which is not really what we wanted with Cash Money Lil Wayne, but that's fine. It still gives insight to why Lil Wayne was not at the Versus, and even Turk wasn't at the Versus either. It was just BG and Juvenile, which was interesting to see. But now we're just going to get into how Master P finished the entire music industry. So let's just get straight into it. No delays. Shout out to Hustlers and the Hood. Yeah, let's go.
Monday CRM has the best AI features in the game.
Especially in sales.
Hands down.
So for me, email composition works like magic. You know me, I'm not a great writer, but
how Master P built an empire with just 10K.
P was like the blue for independent people coming out the street, how to empower themselves and their family through music, and also not get played by the structure. Be smart enough to sidestep the whole business model.
Who is 5 major black people that gave you game during your journey?
For Master P? For P, he's so much of a hustler. He was there in the very beginning, and he could see that I was going where I was going.
They was the only niggas getting money in the industry. Puffy and them was rocking, but they wasn't getting no money like Master P was. I seen all of the niggas that supposedly had the money. Master P had the motherfucking money.
True with the P, man. They need to build statues for P, man.
He never lied. Before hip-hop empires ruled the charts and rap moguls became household names, one man dared to dream much bigger. Known to the world as Master P, he didn't just break barriers. He built a new blueprint and transformed himself into a cultural icon and business powerhouse. By 1998, he wasn't just making music. He was a force. Listed by Forbes as one of the 40 highest paid entertainers, pulling in a staggering $56.5 million annually. And today, his empire is worth over $200 million. But how did a kid from the Magnolia Projects, a place many never escaped, rise to heights no one thought possible? What risks did he take, and what lessons?
Yeah, what risk did he take and what lessons did he learn? This is what we're here for. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, because yeah, like I said, it is about the Cash Money versus No Limit, but it's also about understanding the situation of how these labels started. So we already got past the whole situation. We just need to get an in-depth idea of how, do you know what I mean, how No Limit was started. We already know about Cash Money. You know what I mean? We already know. Let's go.
Can we learn from the legacy he built? Today, we'll uncover Master P's untold story, his early grind, the guts, and the groundbreaking decisions that turned him into a living legend. But more importantly, we'll break down the financial moves and business strategies that built his empire, giving you invaluable lessons on how to play the game and win big. Early life and the 10K investment. The story of Master P didn't start with glamour. It started in the shadows. Born on April 29, 1970, in the unforgiving streets of the Magnolia Projects in New Orleans, Percy Robert Miller, better known as Master P, faced obstacles that would break most people. But even in an environment overshadowed by crime, poverty, and violence, Percy dared to dream beyond the chaos. A natural athlete with big ambitions, Percy excelled as a student and basketball player on his high school team, and this talent earned him a basketball scholarship to the University of Houston, offering a glimpse of a life far from the struggles of the projects. However, his dream was
what he didn't fail to mention, which is what he failed to mention, which is what we were told earlier on. Scully, yeah, not Scully from Snowfall, but Scully, like Scully, the godfather of New Orleans. He helped sponsored Master P into getting that scholarship.
Cut short by a knee injury, forcing him to shift gears. Refusing to give up, he enrolled at Merritt College in Oakland to study business administration, a decision that would prove pivotal in his journey. The first move. At just 21 years old, armed with the $10,000 inheritance from a medical malpractice settlement following his grandfather's tragic death, Master P had a choice: squander the money or invest
that
it. He
image
chose freedom.
of his grandfather, which would be Little Romeo's great-grandfather. He looked exactly like Little Romeo. It's so insane.
While most people might have blown the money on a car or quick thrills, Master P saw the inheritance as an opportunity to build something lasting. Combining 2 years of junior college business education, passion for music, and a lifetime of street smarts, he took a leap of faith, leaving New Orleans behind to start afresh in Richmond, California. Success, however, didn't come with red carpets or flashing lights. It began in a rundown building, seeing potential where others saw ruin. Percy struck a deal, cleaned up the space, and transformed it into the headquarters of his dream. No Limit Records and Tapes. With his wife Sonia and their 1-year-old son, you might know him as Little Romeo. Percy turned the back room of that shopping
Nah, for real, you may know him as Little Romeo. Now he's known as Romeo Miller. You know what I mean? Man. And he ended up becoming a rapper himself. Who knew?
New home. While customers browsed through West Coast rap albums from Tupac, Too Short, Rapid Forte, and E40, the Millers were in the back room balancing family life with hustle. The shop became more than just a business. It was Percy's crash course in the music industry. He wasn't just selling music, he was soaking in the game, learning the industry from the ground up, what sold, how to market, and spotting gaps in the market. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Running the store came with challenges, limited funds, cutthroat competition, and the constant fight to keep the doors open in a tough market. Despite the obstacles, Master P turned setbacks into stepping stones. He began recognizing industry patterns and identifying opportunities. That's when it clicked. He could do more than sell records. He could create them. In 1991, P dropped the debut album Get Away Clean under his own label, No Limit Records. It wasn't a massive hit, but it proved a crucial point. Percy Miller didn't need a major label to make music.
I kept consistency on the dreams and the goals, and every day I put something a little bit in, even when it looked like it wasn't happening.
For him, failure wasn't the end, it was fuel. Determined to succeed, he hit the road as an opening act for top artists.
I was the opening act for Tupac. I was out when the lights was on.
Did you hear what he just said? He was the opening act for Tupac. I remember there was, I reckon they'll mention it here, but I remember when he actually did say, I had to turn one fan into millions, or whatever the case was. Sign like that. I was like, bruh, this guy is a G.
Show, every promoter, every handshake was a step forward. And by 1992, his second album, Mama's Bad Boy, sold over 150,000 copies independently. No major label, no flashy budget, just raw grind. At this point, it was clear that $10K investment in his store wasn't a failure. It was $10K invested in invaluable industry knowledge. He learned where the demand was, what people wanted, and how to deliver it. That success was the turning point. Percy knew he had cracked the code. And then came the album that changed everything. The Ghetto's Trying to Kill Me dropped in 1994, and it was a monster. The album sold over 250,000 copies independently, pulling in nearly $1 million. By the end of the year, No Limit Records was raking in cash.
While we all know AI is here to help, not all AI is actually helping.
Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
And proving that freedom was more valuable than any shortcut. But Percy Miller wasn't done rewriting the rules. The game-changing distribution deal. At a time when most artists were signing their lives away for a quick payday, Master P did something no one expected. He turned down a $1 million deal from Jimmy Iovine at Interscope Records.
I was offered $1 million. I said, I'm gonna be a millionaire. But then I started thinking I have 12 other people at home. So if I gave everybody $100,000, we still broke.
That's right. A kid from the Magnolia Projects, where opportunity was as rare as a golden ticket, walked away from $1 million offer. To many, it seemed crazy, but Master P wasn't reckless.
No, well, you heard what he just said. You heard what he said. The amount of people that he had to feed at home, if he breaks them off a piece, guess what? Still broke. So thanks, Jimmy Iovine, but no thanks. And ain't it funny, yeah? Like, you could argue and say, well, he's made Dr. Dre a billionaire, but that's only by selling a product, not by selling albums. I mean, obviously, yeah, by selling albums, but a billionaire, that billionaire status became because of selling beats by Dre. Do you understand? There's a clear difference. And that came decades later. Like, decades later. So who knows? And then you also got to bear in mind the music industry. The music industry is a fickle industry, unless it's a fickle industry if you're signed to a label. You understand? Like, yeah, they could put the marketing money behind you, but once that marketing money is no longer behind you, you don't have that machine behind you like that. Do you know what I mean? Unless you really build up a core fan base to support you. You know what I mean? So what Master P did was smart. There's many ways to look at it from a fan perspective, but from a family perspective, in terms of feeding his family, that's the most important thing. That's the thing you have to think of. If you got a wife and children at home, that's your family is most important. Do you know what I mean? You can't be selfish, be like, oh, if I sign this deal, do you know what I mean? We're gonna make extra more millions. No, it doesn't work that way.
He was calculating.
I said, I'm gonna sell my CDs out the trunk of my car, and I'm gonna go to every city, every hood. I here from Atlanta to Texas to Chicago, and I had saved up $300,000.
He refused to be another artist earning pennies, while the label raked in millions. This rejection sparked a shift in his mindset. If labels were willing to throw around such massive deals, what were they really worth? More importantly, what did they know that he didn't?
The biggest artist in the world was Michael Jackson at the time. So I said, I'm gonna call Michael Jackson's attorney. And I said, well, look, I wanna find out what kind of deal Michael Jackson had. He said, that's gonna cost you $25,000. I said, $25,000.
By the way, that looked like it's supposed to be Tom Mesereau. You know what I mean? Attorney Tom Mesereau. Like, but obviously his lawyer wasn't Tom Mesereau. He has a different lawyer for entertainment, by the way.
I said, okay, sir, I'm gonna give you the $25,000. That was money I ever spent.
Determined to find out, P doubled down on himself. In that gamble, it changed the game forever.
I asked him, I said, what's the next deal? He said, you get a distribution deal, but you're gonna need $200,000 marketing money. That's the only way you could get it. But he don't know I was already selling CDs out the trunk of my car.
By 1996, Master P struck a groundbreaking deal with Priority Records, one that was virtually unheard of in the industry at the time.
The distribution deal is you own 85% of the company and they own 15%. It never been done before. And so I went back, I kept looking for companies till one time Priority Records showed up.
Not only did No Limit retain full ownership of all his master recordings under this deal, but Priority agreed to give them 85% of the wholesale price on every album sold. The cost to make it happen? $200,000 for marketing, which came from the $300,000 P had saved up. For context, a distribution deal typically means the artist or label handles the creative side, producing the music, designing the artwork, and promoting the album, while the distributor ensures the music gets into stores and streaming platforms. Typically, the distribution company takes a significant cut, but Master P flipped the script, negotiating a deal that kept control and profits firmly in his hands. To put this in perspective, most artists were lucky to earn 25 to 50%, and even global icons like Madonna weren't commanding deals like this. On top of that, No Limit received a $375,000 advance per album, a rarity in the business. This record deal was...
Do you know why? Let's be real. Let's put things into perspective. The reason why a deal like that happened like this, in this respect, is mainly because leverage. And not only that, he had Michael Jackson's attorney or one of his attorney, not on speed dial, but like he gave him not free game. He gave him 25,000 worth of game in it. You know what I mean? That turned out to be worth not even multi-millions. So when you put things into perspective, and knowing that he studied business, do you know what I mean? Come on, it just makes more sense to why it ended up this way. Because years ago, I was like, this is amazing. I'm not saying that it still isn't amazing, but I couldn't even think, like, how would this even happen? But now, once you understand the steps it took for him to get to that, it only makes sense.
So revolutionary, it reportedly spooked major label executives into ensuring no artist ever negotiated terms like this again. But the damage was done. Master P had rewritten the playbook. This move also highlights a key principle: never negotiate out of desperation and understand the value chain. When Master P turned down a $1 million deal, he showed the importance of negotiating from a position of strength, not weakness. By controlling production and marketing while leveraging Priority's distribution, he kept costs low and profits high. His first Priority album, Ice Cream Man, dropped in 1996 and quickly became a cultural phenomenon. It was the tip of the iceberg and the beginning of a No Limit dynasty, one that literally lived up to its name. The single Mr. Ice Cream Man climbed the charts, and the album went platinum, selling 1.7 million copies in the US alone. No Limit Records wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. By 1997, No Limit transformed into a hit factory. Artists like Silk.
Okay, so there's a lot of things that's been missing in regards to this situation, and obviously this is just about the industry. There's a lot, so we could get into the middle boys and not like another day, just another day. You understand this? Because at the end of the day, if you're into finance and stuff like that, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification. This is one of the main reasons why I started this channel in the first place. You know what I mean? And it's just so interesting how it makes sense for me to react to content like this, because it makes me understand, all right, boom, this is what's happening with this artist or this individual. This is how they're making this money. This is how they can help you understand how to make money as well. Obviously, different eras, different technology, but the principle is still the same. The principle is still the same. Keep costs low. Do you know what I mean? Or production costs low, profits high. You know what I mean? It's just simple.
Shocker, See Murder, Mystical, Mia X, and Steady Mobbin were dropping platinum albums back to back. Then came Ghetto D in 1997, featuring the iconic anthem Make 'Em Say, The album sold over 3.2 million copies and solidified No Limit's place as an unstoppable force in hip-hop. While Master P's talent as a producer played a huge role in No Limit's success in the charts, the other key was the artist he brought on board. P was a master at signing talent, and it all came down to
you're talking about producer as like picking individual talents, that's A&R. But if we're talking about music producer, it's beats by the pound, man. Everybody knows that.
He looked for potential, whether it was untapped or ready to be elevated. Instead of relying on hype alone, this approach kept costs low and ensured long-term success by investing in artists who could grow with the label. Between 1997 and 1998, No Limit Records released nearly 50 chart-topping albums. By then, Master P wasn't just in the game, he was leading it. And his next move would further cement his place as one of the sharpest negotiators in the business. The kernel of the motherfucking tank had officially arrived. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can join our community. We want you to stay tuned for more content on money, business, and motivation. Now let's get back to it. Handling the
See, if you're interested in that, subscribe to my channel and I'll react to their stuff as well, because they literally doing exactly what I want to do, but they're just curating the content. So, you know what I mean? I'm going to see if I can have a conversation with them and see if we can, you know, strike a, you know, a situation where, you know, let's work together at some point. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I like to give people their props. I don't want to be taking people's content and then, you know what I mean, acting as if it's mine. No, I want to give people their props, because hard work and dedication goes into things like this.
Competition.
Yeah, I'm an AI, but I'm here
listen,
to talk.
You're not AI.
Real apps
AI
you can build in
Allen
minutes.
Iverson.
This finance app solves your.
Have you ever heard of challenger brands? Companies like Warby Parker, Otley, and Under Armour that disrupt entire industries by doing more with less. Master P brought that same disruptor mentality to the music game. Competing with major labels and their massive budgets wasn't an option, so he flipped the script. His solution? Offer the audience more for less. No Limit albums delivered 20 extra minutes of music compared to the average CD. 2 CD compilations were sold for the price of 1. But Master P didn't stop there. He formed the group TRU with his brother Silk the Shocker and C Murder, cross-promoted projects across releases, and marketed in bold, unconventional ways. For context, cross-promotion is a marketing strategy where 2 or more businesses team up to promote each other's products or services. It works by leveraging the audience or reach of one business to benefit the other. A great example of this would be when you download a game on your phone. You might see an ad or get an offer to try another game for free. This strategy helps both apps reach more people, boost their downloads, and in turn, grow their revenue. By 1997, these tactics propelled No Limit Records.
That's an interesting information, right?
To rival Death Row as the ultimate street rap powerhouse, the master stroke. At the time, Death Row Records was crumbling. Suge Knight was in prison. Lawsuits and financial...
No, don't do that. Time out. Don't do that. Don't say that label was crumbling. You have to understand the context of everything. It wasn't crumbling, yeah, because even after that, you had Death Row, right? So the situation, what happened was, you know what happened to Tupac in 96 and what nearly happened to Suge Knight, which led him to being incarcerated because he triggered his probation. I forgot what the actual term is called. So obviously, man had to end up in jail, innit? And then the whole situation. Now, I would do my own situation, actual content, not react. Maybe I'll react. I don't know. I'll figure out something. But I've got something coming. So if you hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, help me get to 1,000 subscribers, at least, bare minimum, 1,000 subscribers, and I will go live and post that content. Yeah? I want 1,000 subscribers, all right? And then I'll do that.
Troubles loomed, and the tragic death of Tupac Shakur in 1996 had destabilized the label. Among the fallout was one of their biggest stars, Snoop Doggy Dogg. 4 years after his debut Doggy Style, Snoop's career had stalled. Frustrated, and with the strained relationship with his label and Suge, he was in need of a fresh start. He became the perfect candidate for Master P's next strategic move.
He was signed with Still With Suge. Everybody at that time was deadly afraid of Suge.
P saw an opportunity where others saw a decline. Suge Knight's imprisonment created an opening, and Snoop's dissatisfaction made him right for acquisition. To test the waters, he featured Snoop on Mystikal's Unpredictable album, and the collaboration was electric. Snoop's laid-back West Coast delivery blended perfectly with No Limit's gritty Southern beats, creating a buzz fans couldn't ignore. By 1998, Snoop became a regular on No Limit Projects, and the rumors started swirling. With Snoop signing with No Limit, Death Row insisted he still owed 6 albums. Def Jam was circling too, but timing is key, and Master P outmaneuvered them all, cutting a deal that only he could pull off. After a tense negotiation where P came face to face with Suge in prison, Snoop's departure from Death Row became a reality.
That's supposed to be Suge Knight? Nah, you did Suge Day. You did Suge Day. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Anyway.
$3 million in cash and points on Snoop's next 3 albums.
Master P went to go visit Suge Knight in the penitentiary and struck a deal because everybody else was scared of that. Right. That's when Suge Knight was the monster, the boogeyman. P went to go see him, struck a deal, paid him.
Master P saw the competitor's weakness and capitalized on it. This move is a textbook example of what in business is called distressed asset acquisition, recognizing an undervalued or troubled asset and acquiring it at the right time. Snoop Dogg was a major name in hip-hop, but his career had lost its momentum. Think of it as buying shares in a company with strong fundamentals but poor management. The potential is there. It just needs the right direction to succeed. Master P wasted no time putting his marketing genius to work. By bringing in Snoop, Master P didn't just acquire an artist. He brought in a cultural icon with an existing fan base. Snoop's face appeared on every No Limit album insert. In his label debut, The Game Is To Be Sold, Not To Be Told, hit shelves on August 4th, 1998, just months after the deal was finalized. The album debuted at #1 on Billboard, selling over 800,000 copies in its first 2 weeks, and went double platinum, solidifying Master P's ability to turn potential into profit. Critics may have dismissed the album as a bloated cash grab, But it was far more than that. It was a strategic rebirth, a calculated move by Master P to revive Snoop's career while adding another jewel to No Limit's crown.
What was going?
And it's so interesting, when you look at the backstory of everything. It's like every time you look at, because you just saying that he was undervalued, which is technically true. It's technically Snoop Dogg's fault because Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean, was anti-Suge Knight, like he was jealous of Tupac. The way Suge Knight was with Tupac, yeah, that brotherhood, that's what Snoop Dogg wanted. You cannot even tell me anything. You can't even want to. You can leave it in the comments below. But he was jealous of that. He wanted that bond. But some bonds are just undeniable, innit? And I get it. You're one of the first, you're one of the first rappers to not one of the first, but we'll get into that another day. But like, he did well on that label at first, and now, do you see what I mean? That's his fault. But look, Master P signed him. Cool, they got a deal. However, the deal was actually done, who knows? Yeah, it's easy to say it was done this way, it was done that way. The only people that know are the entertainment lawyers involved, and also Master P and Suge Knight. They're all going to tell their own stories in their own individual ways, and that's all it's going to be. You know what I mean? Snoop Dogg going to tell his story, but he likes to lie a lot, or he likes to exaggerate the truth. But most of the time, when people say Fat Joe is always capping, no, it's more of Snoop Dogg that's always capping. You know what I'm saying?
On there, what drove you to work with Snoop during that time period?
I knew Snoop had a lot left in the tank. I looked at it like a used car. Death Row Records ain't know what to do with it. I said, if I get that car, I'm gonna put some wheels on it, I'm gonna put a paint job on it, I'm gonna fix it up. And that's what I did with Snoop.
This acquisition not only boosted No Limit's Records' reputation, but also solidified its dominance, helping the label sell over 20 million albums in 1998 alone. Yet, Master P wasn't content with just one major success. On May 11th, 1999, No Limit Top Dog hit shelves. This time, Snoop reunited with Dr. Dre for the first time since leaving Death Row, delivering the G-Funk sound fans had been craving. Anchored by Dr. Dre-produced tracks, No Limit Top Dog proved two critical points. Snoop's star power remained undeniable, and Master P's vision for creating cultural and commercial success was as sharp as ever. Strategic expansion.
And I'm not just your everyday rapper though. I'm an entrepreneur.
These words from Master P's 99 Ways to Die album weren't just a bold claim, they were a blueprint for his life. While No Limit Records dominated the charts, Master P was quietly building an empire far—
Wait, what did he say? Let's get to that.
And Master P's vision for creating cultural and commercial success was as sharp as ever. Strategic expansion.
And I'm not just your everyday rapper though. I'm an entrepreneur.
These words from Master P's 99 Ways to Die album weren't just a bold claim, they were a blueprint for his life. While No Limit Records dominated the charts, Master P was quietly building an empire far beyond music. One of the first rappers to recognize and capitalize on the retail potential of the music industry, Master P expanded his reach into multiple industries, including clothing, real estate, film, and video games. No opportunity was off limits in his pursuit of success. His approach to business can be described as diversified empire building, or strategic diversification. These terms highlight how he leveraged his music platform as a foundation to branch out into new ventures, transforming his brand into a multifaceted empire. One of his boldest and most impactful moves.
You forgot to mention No Limit Record Store, then No Limit Record Label, then No Limit Films, then No Limit Clothing, then this. Come on, man. Then obviously the real estate. Let's go.
Was the launch of No Limit Films, a direct-to-VHS movie studio that sold millions of copies. In '97, he made his film debut with I'm 'Bout It, a low-budget straight-to-video release that he directed, produced, and starred in. Made on a $200,000 budget, the film grossed over $3 million, proving his vision and pioneering spirit in independent filmmaking. This success was followed by I Got the Hookup in 1998, which earned over $10 million at the box office, further cementing his reputation as a creative risk-taker. But P didn't stop there. He launched No Limit Sports Management in 1999, representing high-profile clients like NFL star Ricky Williams.
Look at this. You want to do Cash Money versus No Limit? All right, watch this. What brand or what organization does Lil Wayne have? Managing sports or athletes. Call it what you want, but Master P is the blueprint.
An NBA player on Mercer. While the agency eventually closed, it demonstrated his willingness to explore new opportunities and broaden his empire, even in uncharted territory. Fashion became another pillar of his success. With No Limit Clothing and P. Miller Designs, he delivered everything from streetwear to high-end fashion, celebrated for its quality and accessibility. He even launched P. Miller's, affordable Converse-style shoes that resonated with everyday people. Through PM Properties, Master P expanded into real estate, managing over 100 properties across the U.S. and turning undervalued spaces into thriving assets. His approach mirrored his music career: spot potential, take calculated risks, and create something valuable. By 1998, No Limit Enterprises grossed an astounding $110 million in revenue, inspiring other rappers to think beyond the mic and invest in their futures.
For me, my business is bigger than just music. I think people stereotype me and look at what we've done in music. I sold 100 million records, but if I just depended on that, I wouldn't be around when I'm at today.
The fall of No Limit.
That's interesting. And you see,
Thinking about a career in IT? Get the skills to get the job with Google Career Certificates. You'll learn the fundamentals of hard.
no, see,
Master P's legacy is
it can't really be the fall of No Limit or anything like that, only because the reality is, if you're talking about it as a whole, fair enough, but you got to remember, he literally just said he had to literally expand naturally. You know what I mean? If he didn't go into other ventures, he wouldn't be here where he is today.
Pop is undeniable. But as much as to make him say rapper deserves praise for his impact, his strategy wasn't without flaws. While No Limit was at its peak, cracks began to form. Instead of consolidating its dominance in music, the ball seemed to expand in every direction, including an unexpected one: the basketball court. You see, basketball wasn't just...
Nope. It wasn't unexpected. It was definitely expected. You see, this is why it's great we reacted to what was happening earlier on. Yeah, because that was his initial dream. Are you telling me no matter how much money you make, no matter how much you achieve in your career doing something else, are you telling me if you don't get the opportunity, if the opportunity is there and it arises for you to achieve it, yeah, are you not going to take that opportunity for your first dream? Of course you're going to take your first dream. Of course. Of course. In terms of career-wise, I'm talking. Are you going to... Of course you're going to take it. Come on, man. It makes sense. It literally makes sense. I'm telling you, if someone was to offer me a deal to write music for other people or whatever the case may be, and I'm earning a certain amount of money a month or a year, let's just say monthly income or weekly or month, or I don't know, let's say monthly, but also royalties and that. Of course I'm gonna jump at the opportunity. I've got to see what the situation is saying first, clearly, but of course I'm gonna take it. Because music was my first dream. My first career dream. So I look at it from that perspective, with Master P getting into basketball, to be able to think about it, he only didn't do basketball for a long time because of his injury. And then he ended up being successful doing music. But yeah, man. And aside from that, you can't always be the talent holding yourself for the music. You have to have other people with the talents. And that's where this is where things got a bit tricky, because it's hang on, just because I'm doing the work, you're telling me other people are not going to be doing the work. That's on them. They could have helped it keep going. That's the reality. And I remember he said something, this was years later, though. I think he said it this year or last year or the year before. He mentioned product will always outsell talent because product is here forever. When he said that, I'm like, yo, he's on a different mindset, because that literally sums up everything. Let's go.
a hobby for Master P. It was his other passion, the one that rivaled his love for music. With a basketball scholarship to the University of Houston, he once dreamed of an NBA career, but a devastating knee injury cut his collegiate dream short, leaving a lingering sense of what if. That unfulfilled ambition stayed with him. As No Limit flourished, P saw a chance to revisit the dream he left behind. In the late 1990s, Master P set his sights on a professional basketball career, earning brief stints with teams like the Fort Wayne Fury, Las Vegas Rattlers, Charlotte Hornets, and Toronto Raptors. Coaches admired his relentless work ethic, and his determination was undeniably impressive. But the reality,
I didn't know he played for 4 different teams. He played for 4 different teams.
NBA material. His determination to break into basketball was unwavering, but it came at a cost. As he chased his hoop dreams, Cash Money Records was busy reshaping the music scene, rising as a dominant force with fresh talent and a cutting-edge sound that captured the spotlight No Limit Records once owned.
That ball shit is cool. Don't let it take away from what's making this real money.
We got too comfortable with being at the top.
Master P was...
No, you see, no. You see, this is what I just said. You cannot blame the boss. You can't blame the boss for having other dreams and aspirations and all that. That you know that's what he wanted to do. This is now on you to literally say, you know what, all right, cool. Let's gather more talent. Let's nurture them. Let's get them to have the same work ethic as if the boss was here. That's how you do it. But all right, No Limit clearly had a limit. They clearly had a limit. You know what I'm saying? They clearly had a limit. And then Cash Money started coming in for Cash Money. It is what it is.
Was working on everything but music. At the same time, Cash Money was hot on the scene.
It's time to make a change. I'm coming for y'all.
Strategic expansion can elevate a brand, but it should never come at the expense of the core business, the foundation supporting everything else. P's journey shows the double-edged sword of expansion. It can drive massive growth, but also create vulnerabilities if the foundation isn't reinforced. Shifting focus away from No Limit's music empire weakened the base that fueled his success. Internal conflicts further weakened No Limit. The label's foundation was deeply tied to family. Master P's brothers, Silk the Shocker and C Murder, were major artists. His ex-wife Sonia C was the label's first signee, and his cousin led Beats by the Pound, the in-house production team responsible for No Limit's signature.
Beats by the Pound is their cousin? Wait, I didn't know that. Wow.
Sound. This dynamic kept costs low, but made disputes even more disruptive. A major blow came when Beats by the Pound left the label over disagreements with Master P. Their departure frustrated artists and disrupted the label's creative flow. By 2003, No Limit filed for bankruptcy. Meanwhile, some of its artists faced legal troubles, including convictions for violent crimes and drug charges, further tarnishing the label's reputation.
Like, Mystical just got into something that, even though he's no longer with the label, it gave a bad look on No Limit.
No Limit's decline was also marked by loss. The deaths of Big Ed and Soulja Slim left a void that the label couldn't fill.
But I don't know.
Soulja Slim was actually gunned down on his mother's front lawn.
The empire that Master P built didn't crumble overnight. It faded. Attempts to reorganize the label were made, but No Limit never recaptured the magic of its glory days. Last thoughts. Unlike many of his peers, Master P built his empire on his own terms. Drawing inspiration from visionaries like Berry Gordy, he carved out a path that was uniquely his own. As his own biggest recording artist, P stayed true to his vision, refusing to let the streets dictate his boardroom moves. Even today, living among the biggest stars in the world, he hasn't lost perspective. The bright lights of Hollywood might shine, but Master P remains grounded, a testament to resilience, vision, and staying true to oneself. At his core, P is still that kid from New Orleans, the one who hustled his way out of poverty and became one of hip-hop's greatest businessmen.
Now we gotta push each other. We can't run with each other no more and support each other. If you're not right, cut the ones off that's not right. Like, we really have to get on that because they're slowing us down. Like, think about it. I don't care if you're a family member, a friend, or whatever.
As Master P always says, the only way to make it to the top is through hard work and perseverance. There are no shortcuts.
You understand me? He showed me how to put business because I hadn't had a record label. I was always talking that doggy style shit, but I didn't have no record label. Master P showed me how to put a label together, how to go get money, how to eat, how to make money off my tours, how to make money off of movies, how to create a different lane for me to be seen differently. He brought money to the industry, cause I'm telling you the truth, niggas wasn't having no money. Like, he taught niggas how to get it, man, cause see, rappers wasn't getting money, man. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Niggas was getting gold chains, and you get a big ass production deal. Niggas on No Limit had money. Everybody on No Limit had a house, a car, 2 guns, and a bank account.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more behind the scenes stories of success and hustle. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Yeah, that was interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. I'm gonna keep it moving. We're gonna react to that another time. We react to a lot of stuff, man, because this not on this channel, not on this obviously on this channel, but another time. And obviously we'll get to why Chameleon vanished. We'll get into this. Look, we'll get into this. Everybody in No Limit had the house, a car, and a bank account. That's funny. Make it sing, na 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 na. Let's see what people are saying. Distribution deal isn't. I don't even know what that means. Constantly journaling in a little at a time. Hold on.
Subscribe for more behind the scenes stories of success and hustle. We'll see you in the next one.
He was smarter than them folks and found out the hard way. Master P doesn't own the old No Limit catalog, and Masters P took millions from the label and thought he got away. Universal got money. He took some money and they will get paid off his old catalog and Masters to this day. Prove it. Do you know what I mean? Prove it. Prove it. Do you know what I mean? Here, after the verses, makes sense to why No Limit was and can be on, but it makes sense to why Master P changed the game. Makes me wonder if people on No Limit were just waiting on Master P instead of just getting busy themselves. Would No Limit still be a dominant force? Like, it's a genuine question. Would No Limit still be a dominant force if everyone else took their initiative? Like, be an adult. Just be an adult and take initiative. Like, do they need to hold? Does Master P need to hold everyone's hand in the studio? Walk them to the studio to write the lyrics, get me, and record? I don't think so. And to some degree, relying on beats by the pound for the production is one thing, obviously, because it keeps the cost low. But having multiple producers on deck would have helped. That's another thing. Like, there's many ways, there's lessons you can learn from this. So let me know what your thoughts are. What are your lessons that you've learned from this? But overall, the lessons in this whole situation, the real story behind Cash Money versus No Limit Records, yeah, the real story is exactly this. They're from a project, or they're from the third ward, and unfortunately some things have happened on the streets, and do you know what I mean, it created a situation where two CEOs, or basically two men became, well, I say CEOs because Slim is one as well, but like we really know about Birdman and Master P, and they found a way to be successful within the music industry and beyond the music industry. But also you got to bear in mind there's just one fatal thing. There's just one thing that ties it all in, and that is where they're from. Do you understand? Where they're from. This is why it would have been so special if they just put themselves in a situation where the VERZUZ could only be held in New Orleans. And if it was going to be held in New Orleans, it would have been like a 2-day festival or a block party or something. Do you understand? Because, hey, think about it. The amount of hits that everyone has from both sides and different eras, different times. Come on, man. Come on. Like, come on. In Las Vegas, it made no sense, but listen, they celebrated. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you have to put yourself in their situation and be like, would it have happened? Did we think this was going to happen? Of course not. I didn't. I 100% didn't think this was going to happen. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, man. Do you think it was fair for do you think it was fair in the way that this was done in regards to the VERZUZ? Because I don't know. I think it should have been in New Orleans. Like I said, it should have been. It should have been. Like, it should have been. But one more question. Just one more question. Leave it in the comments below. Who do you believe is better? And I'm talking about financially. Yeah? Birdman, or in fact, we could do this here actually. But you can let me know in the comments below. Who do you in fact, that's a better question. Who do you aspire to be like? Birdman or Master P? I want to see something real quick. Who is more wealthy? Master P or Birdman? In fact, it would be a good idea if I do it this way instead of using my phone. We'll just do this. Who has the better net worth in 2025? Birdman or Master P? Make them say, nah. Master P has the higher net worth in 2025 with an estimated $198 million compared to Birdman's $160 million. Master P's wealth comes from a diverse portfolio, including music, film, various business ventures, while Birdman's wealth is primarily from his music career, which is interesting. Also, I'm going to put this question, yeah? Who owns the masters to No Limit Records? Master P originally owned the masters to No Limit Records early releases, but following the label's 2003 bankruptcy, the back catalog was sold and now owned by EMI. Master P negotiated groundbreaking distribution deal with Priority Records. So the question now, we're going to get this another day, another time. What led to bankruptcy? What led to the bankruptcy? Yeah, what led to it? But anyway, that's me for today. Make sure you turn on your post notifications when I upload a post or go live. But